Okay, well, that was a partial success. Crap. Nothing but professionalism here. Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Shadow and Gun Show. Welcome to another Thursday night paint and chill and yak stream. Over here.
I'm paying shit.
Yeah. How you doing, Bear?
Tired, man. Just tired. I need a vacation.
Yeah. Where would you go?
Is budget an issue?
Probably. I mean,
My bed. I would go to my bed.
And if budget wasn't an issue, place you always wanted to
Ireland,
go?
Denmark, Scotland, maybe Sweden, just because I have friends there.
Yeah.
But, you know, the homelands. But I'm actually saving up for CleriCon. I'm going to go to not CleriCon, sorry, GaryCon next year.
You know what? Either would be a blast. To be honest, I think I'd rather go to CleriCon as much as I would, walk away with just an exorbitant amount of stuff, make it a shopping spree. I really want to meet some of those guys. Father Aaron, of course, high on my list.
No, I mean, there's people there I'd love to meet and all that, but if I'm going to take a trip, I'd like to go somewhere that's not Canada.
That's fair.
Nothing against these guys, but I'd like to go see something interesting. So, fly into Chicago, drive up to Minnesota, could be nice. Or Wisconsin,
Yeah.
where it is, Lake Geneva, wherever the heck that is.
Oh yeah, I mean it's it's where it all started, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do have some issues with some of the things that have happened there over the years,
Such as
the COVID stuff.
What's the COVID stuff?
Oh, masking. I can't wear a mask.
Yeah, but nobody's wearing masks anymore.
I see them every day here.
Yeah, but that's because you live in fucking La La Land.
Yeah.
You live in the state of insane people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Jackie's mom, she still wears hers. She'll walk in the door from work any minute, and she'll probably still have it on.
What's her job?
She works at an electronics company where they do a lot of government contracts and produce electronic components for various things. And she's like a QA manager kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I worry that over there I would, just say the wrong thing or something. It's everything I've heard about the bigger cons and the woke stuff, and I'm like, I just know that I would piss somebody off.
Well, you have one of two choices. You can live your life for yourself, or you can live your life worrying about pissing other people off, right?
Yeah. Normally I don't, but with such a huge group of people, I just feel we'll see. I mean, things are getting better everywhere I look. And, I'd be there to shop more than anything.
Well, like, I'm not going to play any games, no matter which con I go to. I'm not there to play games. I'm there to meet people, wander around, see stuff, buy some shit, go to some panels,
Yeah.
I'm not there to role play. I do that here.
Well, it depends. I mean, if certain people were running a game, I would jump at being in it. I one of these days I got to be in one of Avengers games. I just know those are a hoot. Few other folks, and any of the big names. If I got to be in one of them, I'd probably jump on that as well. But those big names are dropping off the map for various reasons, and it also, I guess, depends on if any of my friends were there. I've run games at cons before, and that's like For me, that's actually really a lot of fun. But I can't think of a single game I'd want to run right now other than Arduin, and that's not ready. But
Yeah.
I will be doing ShadowCon somewhere in Texas in 2025, and if I get the opportunity to take Arduin on tour, I'm going to jump on that as well.
Hey, nerds, nerd.
Hey, folks, if you haven't checked out Nerd's new video, go check it out. Very, very impressive.
What is it?
It's a musical.
Nerds Nerd did a musical?
Well, a music video for Dust 47, I think it was.
That was Dust 47.
It's a miniature war game, alternate Earth, World War II kind of thing.
I got to see this.
Yeah. And Mercurius, thanks for the sub over at John's channel. I really appreciate that. Well, not sub, but the membership for the month. Fair warning, I rarely get over there because it's Wednesdays usually, and I'm always up to here with stuff on Wednesday.
The Steel Guard arose. What'd she use to make it?
Nerds, you wanna let people know? Throw it there in the chat how you did it. Maybe that was just a drive-by.
Could be.
But go check it out. It was really well done.
Cool.
I one of these days I'd love to play it, but I'm not going to drop a couple $100 just to get started. Maybe somebody can send me a PDF or something, and I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, I've been doing. I got introduced to Suno, which is the AI song making software.
I saw that one too this morning.
I'm having so much fun, man.
Did you write that?
Yeah, I write them and then I take them over there and I put music to them, picking the styles and all that.
Nice.
You gotta fucking generate a few until you get one that looks good, and then you're happy and it's all fun. But I wrote about 5 today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know what? I'm telling you, it's got to be spring, man. Everybody's in the musical spirit.
Super creative. Everybody's super creative.
I've been listening to a lot of music lately myself. I sent you that other Steve Winwood because I was just like, that looks like freaking Jackie, not identical, but it just totally reminds me of him. The way he dresses, the way he acts, not the way he sings. He's got obviously a different voice and he's a lot younger, but I'm just like, that could be Jackie someday if he was so inclined.
So your goal for Jackie is to be Steve Winwood? Oh, Jesus.
No, just to pursue his musical interests a little more. He wrote a lot of the music for the last video. He did get some help from a friend on one little thing, but I'm like, he's taking classes, and I think everybody should explore that at least, a little bit in their life. Music is, always been such a big part of my life growing up. That's what I studied in college. And it goes great with everything. You know what I mean? Hey, what's up, Cal? I can only think of one person, and I literally mean this, who did not like music.
Who is that?
An old friend, long time ago. He was one of my regular gamers. We were friends for a long time, but then his life just devolved into the toilet, and nothing I could do to help bring him out of whatever it was he was going through.
Yeah.
And he literally hated music. I'm just like, how do you hate music? I mean, what screw is loose? You know what I mean?
Yeah, some people are weird, man. Some people are just born different, and some people like to be haters. I mean, that's the other thing you got to keep in mind.
I think it was more of a, to be honest, there was this girl that he had the hots for, and it was a completely inappropriate relationship, had it ever been a relationship, and he couldn't, face facts and reality and the awfulness of it, and everything, I guess, reminded him of that. I mean, not every song is a love song, you know. I'm sure you could find something, even if it's death metal. I mean, you know, yeah, yeah, Cal. Just like, yeah, there's somebody for
Women,
everybody out there. That just wasn't his somebody.
well, women often do have that kind of power over men to just ruin them. You know what I mean? Like it's a thing that I've seen many, many times in my life,
Same here. Same here.
and it's a sad thing when it happens. I mean, Jesus, you feel bad for a guy, but at the same
Yep.
time, I've seen plenty of men move on from that and then meet the love of their life.
Yep. All you got to do is not look, and boom, it'll hit you.
Yeah.
You tell yourself, I love being single. That will last about 24 hours. I've seen
Yeah,
it in my
that's
own
fair.
life. I've seen it in my life more times than I can count. It's like, you got a good job, making good money. You just want to chill with your bros, and uh, that doesn't make any sense, but okay, Cal. And just, spend some quality me time, and get your life in order, and things like that. And then someone will pop into your life and make you forget you even said that.
Well, yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't stress. I've just decided that stress is a wasted energy. It's no point when it comes to the affairs of the heart. I meet someone and they sweep me off my feet, or I sweep them off their feet, or we have a whirlwind romance. Great. Otherwise, I'm turning 54 this summer. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I don't have. I literally don't have the patience to deal with someone else's bullshit,
Right.
and I don't think anyone else would have the patience to deal with my bullshit. So
Well, I don't know, man. I like I said, there's somebody out there for everybody.
Yeah, well, maybe.
What's up, Cody?
Cody, you got the computer tonight? Can you get on the computer? Because I know the game got canceled, which is why I'm here. It'd be really cool.
Yeah, you're always welcome, Cody.
Come
I've
on,
got some
Cody. I'll
other
send you the link.
people who are welcome to join, but I've already gotten one cancellation. So, yeah, send him a link. He's always
I'm
welcome.
sending him the link right now.
And HT, if you're out there, it's been too long. Get your ass in here. Everybody else, if you want to shoot me a message. Normally, there's people who are always here, and tonight they're still doing stuff, or they're gonna, come in later. It's all good. I was hoping Jackie would join us, tell us about his game last night, but he's got some other stuff he's got to take care of.
Oh, there you go.
And they had a lot of fun apparently last night in their game, cool. And hopefully, they'll get back into the swing of things now that spring is here and summer's almost here. They've got like 2 months left of school, and they're out for the better part of 2.5 months.
They've started going back here the last week of August. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I was a kid, we didn't go back until after Labor Day. You know what I mean?
We it was a very specific thing that happened. They decided to move the year back to exclude Father's Day from the school thing. Too many complaints or whatever you of kids without fathers.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not even kidding. And whose fault is that? Not the kids, I can't think of a better way for kids to, at least try to have a relationship with their old man than by, reaching out on that one day we get as dads and say, "Hey, Dad, happy Father's Day."
Yeah. It's weird, man. Like everything going on in our society is very strange these days. But the good news is it's going to end. It's not a forever thing. It's
No.
a right now thing.
Yep. And a lot of the things are not working. A lot of the things that people tried to make work are not working. And
Oh, people are fighting back finally too. I mean, like you see I think it's in Ireland or whatever it is. After the government passed their little bullshit complaint law against people fought back. What'd they do? They filed over 4,000 complaints against the prime minister for things he said in speeches. Like, they were like, all right, we're going to play this game. We're going to play this game. And they played the game against them,
Yep. I've got a good friend who lives there right now. And it's very difficult for guys like him to not get in trouble, and he's like one of the nicest guys I've ever met. But you shouldn't have to watch what you say 24/7 for fear of going to jail just by speaking your mind. At some point, people are just, I could literally foresee a point where people just literally say, what, I'm never going to speak again. Screw you guys.
It's really weird watching the decline of free speech in the Western world, because I grew up being taught free speech was the speech you didn't like. That's what free speech was. When the person stood up and said something you didn't like, that was their right to do so, and your ability to speak freely meant that they were able to speak free. And then somewhere about the mid 90s, that started changing, and it's not given up since, and it freaks me out, man. I'm in Canada,
really,
Cal. I've been on the list since like 2015.
Yeah, I haven't been on the list that long because I've only been online for a short period of time, 4 years in August. And if you can't speak your mind, then what have you got? You're basically, you have to say what everybody else tells you to say. I don't want to be any part of that. Who gets to decide? Clearly not guys like you and me.
Well, we're old white men, dude. We don't have opinions that matter anymore.
Well, I hear that every day, but I also hear, like you said, people fighting back against that. And
oh yeah,
I mean, like you said, eventually it will come back and bite you in the ass. Nobody passes the purity tests.
Never.
And
never.
I look forward to watching it bite these people in the ass, because where does it stop? I don't know, but I would be willing to wager it's not a good place for anybody. I can't even remember a time that I was literally offended. So you can say whatever you want. I'm just going to move on with my life, and you get your opinion, I get mine, and what's wrong with that? Oh, yeah. You can't control people if you let them say whatever they want. And that's the easiest way to control them. You control what they say, then eventually you control what they think. Next thing you know, you're in line for Soylent Green Tuesday.
Soylent Green Tuesday.
It's just the most, exaggerated thing I could think of. But God, I love those movies. All of them. Soylent Green, Silent Running, Logan's Run, Rollerball.
So you're really into 70s dystopian future films, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's the ultimate sort of fight against the system and rising above the most dire of circumstances, other than being alone in the woods with nothing but a stick and you hear the howling of the wolves behind you.
I think the 80s dystopian films made more sense because the whole point was they took the Brave New World approach, which is distract the people with commodity and consumerism. Oh wait, that's where we live now.
Yep.
Yeah, I love Omega Man, and I love the original Death Race 2000. So you're
Yeah, those are on
Fire
my
Force,
list.
man. You're in the
Yeah,
right place.
I haven't seen Omega Man all the way through ever, and I'm a huge Chuck
There is an
Heston.
amazing scene, Charlton Heston in Omega Man, where he's firing the submachine gun. It jams. He clears the fucking jam and keeps shooting. Any other actor, right, would have stopped and they'd have cut and do a retake.
Yep.
No, not Charlton, man. He fucking clears the jam and keeps going.
Yep. Yep. One of a kind dude who, just he could do anything. When it came to acting and some of the most unlikely of roles that they could have easily gotten someone, less rough around the edges, easier on the eyes, maybe that kind of thing. And he just said, "No,
I don't,
I'm
I
doing
don't know about
it."
the easier on the eyes. I think women liked a rough man like that back in the day. They liked a man.
They did back in the day, but I've heard exes and stuff like this guy's ugly. I'm like, it's not about that.
That's because you have to stop dating women 20 years younger than you, Shadow. Jesus.
Can't help it, man. Can't help
I
it.
know. I know. Trust me, I know. Trust me, I know.
Actually, the youngest I ever dated was 14 years younger than me. The full on
for me was 17 years younger than me, and I spent 9 years with her.
It was literally just like the Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford kind of thing,
Well, it's it's weird. Dating women my age is fucked up because I'm sorry, and I say this with all the love in my heart, but a woman in her 50s who's single and not a widow, something wrong with her. You know what I mean? If she's single in her 50s, she's made some bad choices in life. Because women have a much easier time of finding a partner than men. That's just the rule,
Right. It's I kind of feel the same way about dudes, though. If you haven't, I mean, I totally get how hard it is, but if you haven't at least been there, and maybe had it blow up in your face, then I gotta wonder, I mean, in this whole wide world, with all the options out there, you couldn't have at least, given it the old college try.
Well, again, so this is something we have to deal with as a regular basis, right? And it's literally going to boil down to the fact that when it comes to relationship status and things like that, women are the gatekeepers. They decide, not men. Men don't decide, I'm going to date that girl, and she's, they start dating. Women decide whether or not the man who's interested in them they're going to date. Now, some guys, and I have a couple of friends like this, are not, let's say they're not winners themselves. Hey, Omanel, they're like, maybe they're like, if we were going the scale of 1 to 10, maybe they're like a 4 or a 5, but all they chase is 8s and 9s. So they're just self-fulfilling prophecies at that point in time, right? I have another friend of mine, the guy's maybe a 5 at best, but he spent his entire life going after 5s and 6s. And he's been married 3 times, but you know what I mean? Like he was never without a girlfriend, you know what I mean? He always had a partner. So it's just the way it is.
What's up, Owen? Welcome to the show. Long time no see, man. How was the Eclipse party?
Oh, it was good. We went out there. We lucked out with the whole, it was really cloudy. It was almost overcast. It was probably like 80 to 90% overcast, and it cleared up like 2 minutes right before the eclipse, and we got to see it, maybe just a little wisp of a cloud in front of the sun, and that was about it. We got to see Venus. Oh, it was really cool. It was really interesting looking at how dark it got, and it was like an hour after twilight kind of effect. It was awesome. My son had a lot of fun. My friend was playing guitar. We did all that, and then that night we got, I guess within 24 hours later, we got about 7 inches of rain. So, I need to talk to my farmer about putting down a cover crop to help protect the soil. So we'll do some of that. But no, everything's going pretty well. Hopefully you guys are doing real well too.
Oh yeah. We had ordered some of those glasses to watch the eclipse, and Jackie's mom, went through Amazon, and they were supposed to be here the day before. Then they said, nope, it'll be there the next day, right before, you'll get them before the eclipse, and I was waiting by the door all day, caught the eclipse the hard way. And they had actually, I don't know how this is a thing, and this bothers the hell out of me. They were in the mailbox.
Yeah, because they'll ship it through the post office.
And I'm like, what? When did that become a thing? Because sometimes it seems like it'll come after the mail. They better not have access to my mailbox.
Well, here's what they'll do, depending on where it is because I've seen the same thing. Is they'll put like Amazon packages on the USPS, the Postal Service stuff, and then they'll deliver it separately from your mail. That's one. The other one is like I've seen them use FedEx. I've seen them use their own Amazon drivers. I just got one that shipped through UPS. So they use whatever carriers out there. So
yeah.
So who knows what they're using at that point?
We have one here in Canada called what the fuck are they called? Intelcom, and they are the worst. Like I cannot even begin to describe to you how bad they are at delivering stuff. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's who Amazon sends it by, and we don't get a choice. We don't get a chance to say, "Hey, please don't send it by these assholes." Please. Nope, they're going to send it by who they send it by, and you're just going to have to deal with the bullshit that comes with it.
Yeah, who knows? I will say as much as I got my eclipse glasses for the annular eclipse that occurred probably about 6 months ago, so I already had them ready to go, and so for the next eclipse if it ever occurs. Which
that's the funny part of the rest of the story is she ordered 100 of them.
Oh my God.
For $10.
Oh yeah. Well, those are the paper ones. I got the ones that include the paper ones. What got me was people were selling those for $3. Was the little paper ones? I got the ones that actually like wrap around glasses.
I'll be back, guys. I'm going to bounce out for a minute because
Okay.
Hungar's over on James. I just want to go say hi to him because he's in the hospital.
Tell those guys to get their ass over here.
I'll do my best. I promise.
And
I'll be
say
back.
hi, for us. Yeah. We've got glasses for the rest of our lives, I guess you'd say.
That's all right. You just tell, hey, Jackie, just keep staring at the sun.
She's probably going to take some to Mexico and see if she can't, either hand them out or give them away. Or they were selling them even in Mexico for $250. Like,
oh wow! I saw one of the places up in Rowlett, and they were giving them away for free at the library.
That's cool.
So I don't know about our library. I didn't go, but no, it went right over. I know that Brian he recorded what how it looked for him. I think that was cool. About 3.5 minutes. We were at 4 minutes, and we were out there. What surprised me is we were all laying down looking up at the sun, and we have tons of fire ants. The fire ants didn't mess with.
Oh wow!
Normally
cool.
They'll find you everywhere.
Not that you have the fire ants, that they didn't mess with you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can do that. And then we had that big rain, and my the gentleman that I buy all my bulk stuff. So when I say, hey, I want some compost, he's like, well, how many truckloads? I'm like, two truckloads. Yeah, but what's funny is it's not that expensive for him. And I said, man. I said, you probably underprice yourself. He's like, look, this is my third job. I'm semi-retired. I'm just happy to do something. And I said, okay, that's cool. He says, I will undercut anyone. And he says, I'm the cheapest person in the county. I said, all right. But
that's cool.
He called me up to see how my entrance was that he helped build. Now, I had used another contractor to lay the concrete out, but he did that. As that thing's rock solid, it hasn't moved. I said the rest of my property will wash away, but not that entrance. And then
that's cool.
Of course, I paid $30,000 to put that crap in. And then he also he says, hey, I got a half a cow. I've got a cow. Do you want to share? And I said, yeah. So I got half a share. And now I'm like, hey, I'll get 3/4. Anyway, we were talking about it, and since it's grass fed, it has a different flavor. I was like, it's kind of lean. I said, but man, I really did like the flavor. It was really good. He said, yeah, I like it. I said, but I'm a person that likes a gamier meat. I'm fine with that. A lot of people don't. They want almost,
Yeah.
they want pretty bland. But I'm like, nah, man, it's really good. So I made some spaghetti sauce with it. My son just cooked up 2 pounds of ground beef, didn't even season it. And I said, man, this is still pretty good. So I've been quite happy with it. So we'll see. I think next year I'll buy 3/4 of a share. I'm not sure I can fit a full share in my thing, but a lot of people can probably get the other quarter. And then I'll also make sure I get more bones because, man, I really should just ask for more femur bones next time. And then maybe, the heart, the lungs, the liver next time as well. Those make good dog food.
I don't do organs and stuff like that.
But for your dogs.
Well, I got one, and he's lucky to get what he gets. I'm not going out of my way.
You don't have, well, yeah, but if you can get it, you might as well ask for the organs.
Well, right now I would have nowhere to put even half a cow. Yeah. I'm working on that because we just had a power outage here, and I'm like, we've never had one of those before, for more than a few minutes.
Yes.
That was because we did something like overloaded a circuit or something, and it was a 12-hour thing, and it sucked. So right after I get some sort of either a solar generator or even a gas generator, but I know that's not really going to be cost effective long term.
Well, even so, even here, we're still like my refrigerator is supposed to be guaranteed for 48 hours. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. So.
Oh yeah, we didn't lose anything in the 12 hours, but if it happened like today where it's 80 degrees,
yeah,
and my garage is like 95 sometimes or more depending on the actual temperature. No. I and gas, how much gas can you store?
Well, like everything else, and
we already get a hard time for we have a crap ton of firewood, and the insurance company comes around and it's like, you got to move that, blah blah blah. I'm like, where? Do you know what kind of fire it would take to light this hardwood? There's no spark. I could literally hold like almost any kind of flame to it for a solid minute, and it's not going to catch on fire. But they don't care.
That's what I've been hearing a lot of them. But if you have your house paid off, then the question is, okay, what kind of insurance do you need? That's the other part. But no, like I said, with the food here, like it says it's good for 48 hours. So then and if you look at FEMA, it's supposed to be 72 to 120 hours. So, it just depends on how you want to look at that. So there's that aspect. And I know that we all become very, very, I don't want to put this. Oh, we're going to be super, super, preppers. But, there's a certain point where you get diminishing returns and say, okay, well, just how bad do I expect the world to get, So there's that aspect. I don't want to get too crazy about things. I mean, I'd love to have solar panels and all the other stuff, all the stuff that everyone talks about. But the other day,
solar panels are useless in an emergency. Ours they didn't do us any good because they're attached to the grid. If you don't have a battery, then they don't do anything. They just sit there.
Well, I was having a discussion with this with my son's mother, and you're right. That's true. If you hook him up to the grid, if you don't hook him up to the grid and you use it as a, like for some other things, then it's not a problem. Like if you have an automatic transfer switch or something and you flip that, that would be fine. And really, when I was looking at solar panels, agreeing with you, I just wanted to have the ability to power up my, run the refrigerator, the stuff that's absolutely critical.
That's literally all you need. Because if the power's down, you're not going to get the internet. Sure, you could maybe watch TV, DVDs or something like that. But
sure,
if the power's out, you really don't have that luxury of sitting around doing nothing until like the second or third day when you realize, okay, it's not coming back on for a while, so we might as well hunker down. But before that, you've got too many responsibilities keeping everybody, from panicking, keeping your food safe and not spoiling, and stuff like that.
But I mean, I grew up in hurricane country, and look, you get some people lost power for 6 weeks. Okay, that's a whole different issue. But it's not as bad as I think that people make it out to be, where they're all freaking out like you're going to be fine.
James is on his way over.
Oh, cool.
Send him the link. Oh, there he is. Speaking of the devil.
There you go.
What's happening?
You know what they say? If you speak of him, he starts looking at you.
My
Hey,
mother always used to say, "Speak of the devil, and he shall appear."
I did a small video yesterday with you and your brother in mind. I don't know if you saw it. The
I slept all day for no reason. Like I went to bed at 10 o'clock and still slept till like 3.
That sounds like heaven, dude.
I don't know. The wife asked if I was depressed, but I don't feel depressed.
Hey, you know what though? It's the only way I can tell if I'm depressed is it depends on how much energy I have and if I want to do certain things. That's the only way.
We'll do, Derek.
I think depression manifests differently in different people. So it's, but you have to know it. Like you said, who knows?
So how's your brother?
He's still in the hospital, and they're putting him on some stuff to help him out. And I don't know. You know how it is.
Yeah. Well, he's got all of us, rooting for him and praying for him and all that good stuff. Sure, he'll be fine. Hey, speak of the freaking other devil.
There he is.
Why don't you pop in? You don't have to show, use your camera if you don't want to. You got the link. You're the first person I sent it to.
Talking about with the Omega Man and Death Race 2000, but I love both of those movies.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
Yep.
But Charlton Heston is one of my favorite actors from that era. It's like pretty much everything he's in is awesome. And I love his version of Moses with Cecil DeMille and all that.
Oh, yep.
And, really? This is shaping up to be a good conversation, so I'm going to go make a quick cup of coffee and be right back, boys.
Okay. All right. Oh, he was also Ben-Hur, too.
And he was also in El Cid, which was also
he was El Cid.
That was a phenomenal movie.
Which was the
Spanish Night that was movie that he was in.
Conquista.
I really can't think of one movie that he was in that sucked. If there is, I haven't seen it.
I'm going to say, you're talking about Charlton Heston. You know what's great about Charlton Heston is he was in so many sci-fi films, even though I don't think of him as a sci-fi actor.
Yep.
You know what else is weird about Charlton Heston, Omanal?
What?
He wrote Hungry Like a Wolf. That was performed by Duran Duran.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wrote it to a girl when he was going to college in Michigan.
No
freaking way.
Look it up.
Serious?
Dude, I'm 100% serious. I'm either wrong or I've misbelieved this forever, or it's true.
Hate to break the news to you there, James, but
I was reading or doing something, and they said, "Yeah, Charlton Heston wrote that."
They misled you, sir. It was written by the band and produced by Colin Thurston.
That's what I heard. It was based on, or was a poem he had written to a chick he really dug.
Maybe. Let's see.
Because a college age Charlton Heston was probably pretty popular.
Oh, dude, he was.
You know what I'm saying?
He probably had to beat him off with a stick.
Or that could be some urban legend, like Bear said, that I just heard.
Could be, but you know what? That's going in my head canon. Whether it be true or not, I don't really care.
I love it.
I'm okay with whatever's going to happen. Sometimes the stories are better than the.
Hey, I've got that little bit of Texan in me. Never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
I fully agree with that aspect.
He was drowning in the booty.
Well, you know what? He earned it. No, it's
yeah, he sure as shit did.
I like Charlton Heston, for the voice and everything else. I liked John Huston. There's several actors.
I bet he'd be a hell of a guy to drink with. You know what I mean? It would either be really cool or, you know, fists would be traded, you know, flying and shit, you know. But in the end, it'd be like, it's good, you know.
Oh yeah.
He'd call you the next day, go, yeah, sorry, got a little out of control.
So what are you working on there, Shadow?
The Kraken.
Oh, cool.
Release the Kraken.
You know what though? I still like, even though the special, you know, everyone talks about special effects, but I still enjoy the 1980 version much better than the
Oh,
2000.
the newer version was hot garbage. It
Well,
really
that just makes you a good person, Omino.
No,
The newer version, even though I like the actor they got to play the character, okay, it just wasn't as good.
no.
And we all remember those freaking fast ass skeletons jumping around and shit like that, trying to kill him. You know, Jason or whoever it was.
Yeah, there's just so many better, you know, things. I think.
Hey, you know what? Harryhausen made everything he did. You know, even looking at it today, my boy and I, we watched all the movies last year, and I'm like, you know, even as kind of hokey as it looks now, it's still, I'd rather watch that than CGI every freaking day.
Well, the problem,
you name it.
the problem I have is most of the CGI just looks like it's the CGI unfortunately just looks it just looks like a cartoon, and well then I'd rather just watch a cartoon. That's just me.
Yeah, and look at Fire and Ice. You know, that was rotoscope, which is animated over real people.
Bakshi and Frazetta.
Yep.
It looked freaking amazing. You know, not all of it. There were some scenes that were
subhumans.
A little campy. But
I don't know if you remember when the one subhuman reached into a log and like the beetle thing got on his arm.
Yeah, that was cool.
I used to always tell Haas that he looked like that subhuman.
The scene where the girl is hiding in the log.
I used to tell Hungar that. I'd be like, that subhuman looks just like you, Hungar. And I called him by his name. And he would be all like, what? I'd be like, he's got the same haircut and everything. He looks just like you. Man.
Like I said, the scene with the girl hiding in the log was just pure art. It was
and then you hear all of the things start clicking and carrying on after the one dude got yacked in the arm.
Yeah.
And the subhuman is like, we need to get the hell out of here. This is getting ready to be bad. Right.
Yeah.
So, Necron's Necron's dogs.
Yeah.
Because the witch got ganked by him.
Oh yeah. I mean it was like, just
Necron's dogs did this to me.
You know, that's what makes it so cool. And I wish we did more of. I'm not saying that. Look, I look at it now and I'm like, okay, well, the same thing with the Lord of the Rings. People say, well, it's dated. I said, well, I don't mind certain things that are dated. You know, if they look cool, let's keep them
that would
cool.
be like saying that about, you know, Casablanca.
Well, which Lord of the Rings are we talking about? Are we talking about the Bakshi movie?
The Bakshi's the one I'm referring to in this case. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like I still like the Peter Jackson stuff, but
I don't think anyone will ever do it better than Peter Jackson did it.
That's true, but I'm saying, but as far as cartoon style, there was something to be said for that.
Well, yeah, it was. They did that because nobody could afford to do it right. Now that they can afford to do it right, you know, we'll never see that quality, I think, or that actual appreciation for the source material.
I don't know. I think Jackson did it.
I think Bakshi's representations of the Fellowship were a lot closer,
way better
than the movie.
Yeah,
it's been a while since
the Battle of Helm's Deep. The way they did the orcs with like all shadowy, but with the glowing eyes, they were actually kind of scary.
Oh yeah.
Like as a young kid watching that, I was like, oh my god.
They got a copy of it when I was in grade 6 or 7, and they showed it to us in the school auditorium. And I read the books. I knew nothing, and I was just like, oh, you know.
Wow, you had a cool school, man.
Yeah.
The best we ever got was that dumb surfing movie that they would play every time it rained, and PE got canceled. I forget the name of it. It was cool. It was a cool surfing movie.
No, this was like they would do a movie
Die?
night. They would do a movie night every week at the school just to give the kids something to do. You know
See,
what I
I
mean?
got you both beat because I got to go out to recess and watch a space shuttle explode.
Oh, you know what? I was
Actually, I can't quite top that, but we had a helicopter crash 50 yards from my kindergarten class.
I had, to be fair, so I was doing the what was that thing called, the academic decathlon or whatever. I'm like, hey, go watch this. And like, oh, okay, that's fine. Then all these people, and they're like, they're traumatized. We need to help everyone. All I could think was, because my father was a helicopter pilot, and we had several family friends die in helicopter crashes, around the military. So I'm like, this is what happens, whenever you try doing these things, they're not safe. And it didn't have the same effect as it seemed to affect the adults more than it did the kids, oddly enough.
For which the space shuttle?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my teacher was crying, and we're all like they made us watch it on TV, and we're like, what the hell? That's dark.
Yeah.
And then like by lunch, we had all the NASA jokes going, right?
Yeah.
Nice air show assholes, need another 7 astronauts. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How many astronauts can you fit in a fucking Volkswagen? 2 in the front, 2 in the back, 7 in the ashtray. Like shit like that. By lunch, those jokes were flying
Humor
around.
is how you deal with grief. A lot. The human race.
Well, I think that's
how we deal with grief.
Yeah.
Or things we don't understand.
Meanwhile, our teacher was crying. She's like, and we're all staring. We're all like, what? As grade 9, so we're all just staring at her like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
It was surreal because you see it go up, and then you see like a little piece,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden, and it was just like, I think I'm going back to Kentucky. It's just getting weird.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, you could literally walk out there. I remember them when I was.
Yeah, we were literally standing in the freaking. We were close enough to hear it. We could see it going up,
Yeah.
And then boom, and it was just like, okay, that's never happened before. But the only movie they ever wheeled in and showed us that wasn't educational was Thriller.
I think that we had Watership Down. We had a few others, to be fair.
I've to this day, I've still not seen Watership Down. What is the
No.
freaking deal? No. What's the
Dude.
big deal?
Dude, when you're a kid, it's a huge fucking deal. It's the most violent kids film you'll ever watch.
Yep.
Like it makes you cry. Like it's fucking harsh, man.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it's about other than like
It's about rabbits. It's about like the society of rabbits living in the warren, and the farmers plowing the fields and all this kind of shit, but also the rabbits and their politics and what's going on between them, and like the fighting with the other rabbits. And then there's the black rabbit that's like the ghost that takes them beyond, and it's fucking intense, man.
Yeah, what was his name? It was King.
Can't remember.
Fu or whatever it was, and it was the rabbit's fault because they were too powerful.
Yeah.
So then God said, Rabbit, you need to stop doing all that shit. And Rabbit basically shook his ass at God and said, I can do whatever I want. And then God said, okay, all right.
It's a heavy book. The book is even heavier. Like the book is really heavy, but the animated movie was pretty fucking
man.
heavy.
The one Warren that ran by that one-eyed hare. Ugh.
And the dogs. Don't forget the dogs.
The saddest part for me, the part that I teared up as a child watching, was the snare part.
The snare?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the Hungar just mentioned it. That it's like, that was horrible.
Oh, he got caught in that wire snare, and you're just sitting there watching it die, and it's like.
We watched Orca when I was a kid when it came out. Orca, right? You've all seen Orca?
Oh yeah.
No, I'm not familiar with Orca.
Okay, so at the end of the movie, after they've mortally wounded the orca, and it's the final shot of the film is its perspective as it's swimming away from the village and all this type of stuff. I cried because if you watch the movie, it's not like Jaws where this shark just showed up and started fucking with people. The orca had done nothing to the humans. It was the humans attacking its mate and cutting its baby out of its mate's stomach, and then it wanted revenge. You know what I mean? And it goes after the village for revenge. So I was on the side of the fucking orca for the whole film.
Yeah.
Like, go orca, team orca, baby. You know.
Welcome to the show, Coco B.
Hey, Coco.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I sat down and watched a bit of Babylon, Babylon, not Babylon 5, Battlestar Galactica with my mom, the new one.
Yeah.
Like the whole time I'd be like, you know that the Cylons are the good guys, right? She'd be like, no, they're not. I'd be like, no, I'm pretty sure they are. And we'd get into it. And she'd be like, how could you even say that? I was like, well, look at the way the humans are treating each other. They're terrible.
Yep.
They're absolutely terrible. They're the worst, you know?
That's why I don't like it.
It's
I don't like the new Battlestar because I was a huge fan of the original Battlestar, because the original Battlestar was about family and connection and, you know, community. It was all these positive messages that we need in our fucking society. We didn't need another round of humans suck. We know humans suck. Maybe if we could go back to the sci-fi like Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica that gave us hope and told us we could be better and showed us an example, maybe we'd be better.
Hey, Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers. I mean, those are all, you know, that's why whenever we're talking about sci-fi, I said, I want the 1930s
Good night,
style
Hungar.
sci-fi.
Worship
Yeah,
Take care, brother.
You know what? Your brother
Yes,
needs
you
to
need
figure
to
out.
know where to go.
No, just no. But I want the aspirational aspect instead of everything being the dystopian future. I'm tired of the dystopian future.
You're not the only one.
You know, that's, well, and, you know, I remember the 1990s. We had some of that where it's like, okay, Cold War is over. Things are getting better. We get this. You know, you can see it in the even in the cartoons. It's like, oh yeah, I mean the Batman animated series was really good in my opinion.
It was.
You know,
Probably one of the better cartoons to come out in
Flash
the last 20 years.
Gordon, that's a
Okay.
that's a different topic. RPG.
Yeah, it's a completely different drug.
That's a Saturday night topic. You want to put that in the hat? We'll talk about that Saturday night.
That's like Womb Raider instead
Batman. Okay, Batman: Mask of the Phantasm is the best Batman movie ever made.
I don't know if I've seen that.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Fuck! It's
But
the best Batman movie ever made.
I'm like kind of invested in the Killing Joke because back in the day, it was something that we had never seen, or at least I had never seen in a Batman story. And it was
the Joker beating Robin to death with a crowbar.
No, the Killing
No,
Joke.
that's
was,
Death in the Family.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't watch a lot of those, but I do have some nerd cred. I do own Dark Knight Returns. The trade paper.
So I like Dark Knight Returns. I like Killing Joke. I like Watchmen, but I also dislike what they did to superhero comics, which was basically they created the mentality of superheroes all have to have clay feet, right? And therefore we're going to have more dark and gritty stories. The thing is, Alan Moore, Frank Miller at the time, and I can't remember who wrote Killing Joke off the top of my head. These are top shelf writers. You know what I mean? These are writers who can handle something like this and do it well. The rest of the hacks got in there and suddenly it's just killing people left, right, and center. It's sex everywhere. It's this everywhere. It's making fun of superheroes all the time. And it just diminished the entire mythology as far as I'm concerned. Who wrote
it basically happened after they invented HR departments.
Well, it was the 80s, so I don't know about that.
You know.
What'd you think
Once
of
you get
year one?
infiltrated by the HR department, you're done.
Killing Joke was published in 88, and it was written by Alan Moore. There we go. See? There we go. It was written by Alan Moore.
And Alan Moore came out
What did you think of
recently
year one?
Alan Moore
like it.
came out and said if he knew adults would love Watchmen as much as they do, he never would have wrote it.
Yeah.
Because comics are for kids.
Yeah, but he's an asshole, let's be honest.
Yeah, he thinks he's a wizard too.
Well, my favorite thing is the Grant Morrison Alan Moore wizard fight, right?
Right.
Because they're both wizards and they hate each other.
Right.
So it's just wizard fight.
So you basically just take the battle up on top of Isengard, was it?
Yeah.
Sauron and Gandalf.
And instead they do it. They said they do it in comment chats.
Or you do a deep fake and put them on there. That would be
It's
pretty
too
funny.
bad because you would think if because I consider Watchmen to be a work of art. So it's almost like kind of ungrateful of him because he created such a great thing, and then he turned around and took a big dump on everyone who loved it.
Well, he also he has this attitude about superheroes and stuff like that, but he wrote the greatest Superman single issue ever. Right after Crisis, before they launched the new DC universe, they just had some space to fill up, so they were just like, write stories and write whatever you want. So he wrote a story called Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. And it is an amazing single issue of a Superman comic that touches on all the Superman mythology and all this kind of stuff. It's really, really good. So he clearly doesn't hate superheroes as much as he likes to make out. But because he had such a massive falling out with DC, he kind of takes that stance, right? Like I don't believe him. I just think he's being
I didn't know he had a massive falling
huge.
out. So now it makes more sense. Maybe.
Huge. He literally refused to take any, because what happened was the deal was Watchmen would do its run, and then the minute it went out of print, he and what's his name, the artist, would get the rights to it. It would be theirs. They would have it for themselves. Well, because it was such a huge success, DC has never brought it out of print ever. So that was a huge fallout.
So they're working the system to keep him from getting it. Yeah, that's what Disney does.
He turned down royalties for the movie. He doesn't accept royalties on the comic anymore, and he insists that they either give it to charity or they give it to the artist, whose name I'm escaping on right now. Alan Davis, I think. No, Alan. Is it Alan Davis? Who wrote? Okay, who did the art on Watchmen?
Yeah, everybody in chat. I'm not a comic book nerd. Sorry.
I'm not a huge. The last time I did it was just because I don't like the superhero aspect. I'm much more of a warlord kind of. That was my favorites.
Dave Gibbons. Dave Gibbons was the artist. Sorry.
Has anybody here ever read any Jonah Hex?
Of course.
You got a good one to recommend? Because every time I buy like a graphic novel, other than
are they even allowed to make Jonah Hex comics anymore?
Oh yeah.
He was an ex-Confederate cavalry officer, right?
Yeah. Get the Hex 3000 stuff. That's really cool. It's like sci-fi Jonah Hex. It's really cool.
It's kind of like, I think one of the reasons that Carter, that whole movie didn't do as well as it did, is because Carter's a Confederate officer.
The problem that I have with it is it was an unknown, while we all know about it, the reality of it is that it's not in the general popular. It's
not mainstream.
So they made a big mistake. They didn't do enough marketing on it, and they didn't tap into the vein of marketing that they needed to, which is to go Star Wars, this, that, and list all the stuff that ripped off John Carter, and then go, this is the source of it all. Well, and then everyone would have wanted to go see that movie,
Marvel had Disney had just acquired Star Wars and Marvel, and they did not want anything trampling over that.
Nothing trampling.
They're the second thing they did wrong, and I think this is terrible of them, is they did not put the Princess of Helios in the proper clothing.
Deja Thoris. That is the first thing they did wrong. That's the
first thing. That movie would have done great if you just had that actress.
If the movie was nothing but Deja Thoris in the proper attire, it would have been the highest grossing movie of all time.
Well, I got good news for you. There's a mockbuster of it, because it's public domain, John Carter, where they do have that, and the chick is walking around with her tits hanging out all the time. It's an awful film, but hey, her tits are hanging out.
I've got my pen. I'm writing notes. What's it called?
I'll get the name for it. I think it's called A Princess of Mars.
I think we can all agree on that. Whoever they got to play Deja Thoris was absolutely beautiful.
Oh, that's
really?
What's her name?
Yeah,
What's her name?
I thought she was a little old for Deja Thoris.
I thought she was a little plain, to be honest. She wasn't.
She's beautiful, man. She was amazing in Tron, the second Tron movie.
You know what? I can't even remember her name. I'm just like, no, you're kidding me. This is the woman they picked.
Don't get excited for the Princess of Mars. It was done by Asylum, so that should give you an idea of why you should.
I mean, she was literally supposed to be the most beautiful woman.
Remembering on your friend Shadow.
Pardon?
I'm concentrating on all the reasons I'm your friend, so that I can get over the statement you just made. I'm joking.
That she's plain.
You didn't like her. You didn't like her. I mean, hey, whatever.
She's supposed to be the most beautiful woman of two.
Oh wait, I was wrong. It's Lynn Collins. For some reason, I thought it was someone else.
I don't
No,
even
no.
know who it is because I rarely look up actors.
Her
but,
name's
like,
Lynn Collins. I'm completely wrong as to who I thought was.
But I
Deja
mean, when
Flores.
you think of the prettiest women of all time, right?
Yeah, she's
Her
up
name
there
doesn't
for
come
me.
up.
She's up there.
Really, I wouldn't even put her in
As
the top
that
10.
character, like not in real life. I've never seen her not that character that
Well,
I know.
you
She
know, I mean,
looks
we
so much like the chick that was in Tron. What's that actress's name?
never saw it.
So, but
sequel.
as Deja Thoris, hell yeah, I had the hots for Deja Thoris.
Absolutely, but I guess my
She's
imagination
beautiful.
is just, you know, or the women I've dated are just make her look, you know, like a 7.
The girl from Tron Legacy, I'm trying to remember the name of, is Olivia Wilde. She looks a
Oh
lot.
yeah. Okay.
I mean,
She
did
looks a
women
lot
even
like-
exist when you were created, though?
Did what?
Women even exist when you were created?
Oh yeah.
No,
I mean,
that's why
weren't
he's
you
missing a
wandering
rib.
the wilderness, like spawning offspring with Lilith or some shit back then.
Just saying, she's, you know, you if you were
One of
to
these
ask,
days, I'm going to figure out your true name, and then I will own you.
Yep, I'm down for that. I'm down.
I mean, I know it's not Azazel. I know
No,
it's not Zafriel, but I one of these days I'm going to get it.
You know who he is? He's what's his name? Uziel.
Nah.
there's literally no A in my name.
That's why I said
Yeah.
Uziel. Uziel has no name, A in his name.
That's true. You got to remember the second part is EL because it's thing of God. L. EL is how they use to say God.
And Uziel means Uzi of God. He's God's submachine gun.
The Uzi of God. Yeah. Well, you know,
Yeah.
like Samael is the poisoner of God because they say he's the angel that poisoned everyone in Egypt. You know, and Gabriel, Michael. Right. Anyway.
Do you subscribe to the Isis Ra El theory for the name Israel?
No, but I've heard it and I don't unsubscribe. Okay, what am I trying to say? I'm not saying I believe it, but I'm not saying I don't.
Yeah, I hear you.
You're
You know what I
agnostic.
mean? It's like,
No, it's-
who knows? You're talking 10,000 years ago, man.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, we know the angels used to be called Elohim, which is El and then Ohim. You know, so I mean, that shit gets wild when you look into it. But I have read the Goetia. Not that I suggest anyone ever read it. So that's kind of where that humor was coming from, having read the Goetia and the Lesser and Greater Key of Solomon. You know.
On that note, Cal is just going to steal some minis. Okay.
Seal, not steal.
Oh,
Seal.
seal. Oh,
He don't need to steal minis. He's got.
I know. Like, you've got them all. I mean, there's probably like 8 minis on his list that he doesn't own.
Cal, I just set this magnetized tray up so that I can put the minis I intend to get done in order on the tray and then ignore them for like 6 months. But at least they'll be organized. In that way, I would compare myself to Rimmer from like Red Dwarf. He was like super excellent at making like his schedules, but he couldn't do anything else. But he was so good at making his schedules and color coding and shit that in some places they would have been considered works of art. And SSC and BSC, that's bronze swimming certificate and silver swimming certificate. Because they always said, my name is, you know.
Well, that's
whatever.
the clue, right? That's the clue, right? Is that the microdots in the eye on his swimming certificate because he can't swim.
Yeah,
That's one of the
BSC.
best. Despair
SSC.
Squid is one of the best fucking episodes of that show ever.
And that show is one of the best shows of all
And
time.
you know
Up
what?
until Naylor and Grant split. When the two split, the clever one leaves and the goofy sight comedy one stays to run the rest of the show.
Like what season was that? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Season 4, I think it's a season 4. They
Really?
split.
I thought they were always together on that.
No, they split.
There was a definite change as the story went on.
Huh.
Like when they started fighting with like animated curries and stuff.
Yeah.
That was totally different than Lister wandering around the Red Dwarf eating.
So it was Rob Grant and Doug Naylor,
the
and
white
then
powder
Naylor
version.
left.
The
Grant left. I think Grant left. Who left? Production.
I could have swore I always saw Naylor's name at least on all of the.
Well,
credits.
he still gets money for it, but
Yeah,
he
he still
left.
gets credit.
Oh, okay.
I think that's about when they added Llewellyn to be Crichton.
4 years elapsed between series 6 and 7, partly due to the dissolving of Grant and Naylor's partnership.
You know why they dissolved? Just curious.
Grant left. Grant Naylor left. Rob Grant left the show after the 6th series. So the first 6 seasons are really good, and then after that, it goes straight the fuck downhill.
Huh.
You pick up with season 7.
I know there were a couple of like I want to say like seasons roughly like 8 through 10. I'm like, the magic's gone. Too much time has passed. You know, they're just really trying to force it. But up until at least when we met Ace Rimmer for the second or third time,
Too much. It was the
But
first time.
even before Ace Rimmer was even a thing, if you watch even the first 4 seasons, you will realize that Rimmer is the hero. Like, he bitches and complains the most, but when it really comes down to it, he's the one that always pulls their ass out of the fire.
Not necessarily.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm going to take a little bit of umbrage on that. Dave does tons. Cat sometimes pulls their ass out of the fire. Crichton often pulls their ass out
Cat
of the
pulls
fire.
their ass out of the fire. It's an accident. He didn't mean to.
Yes. And even Holly, you know, depending on which Holly you prefer. Holly's many times pulled their ass out of
I
the fire.
prefer the original Holly.
I like both. I like both for different reasons. I like the original Holly because of his just weirdness, and I love the replacement Holly because she was just such a fucking bimbo. She did such a good job being a bimbo, you know? She was so good.
Well, the original Holly, like when he replaced himself with Queeg 5.
Oh my God.
Seminal episode.
Oh my God. We are
That
talking
is
April, May,
literally-
June, and July, fools. We are talking
is
Date
literally
of the
like-
Millennium.
Potentially the best episode of all time.
Nah, Despair Squid will always be the best episode for me.
The Despair Squid was really
such a good
cool.
episode.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Where the Despair Squid was living down in the water tanks. That's the one, right?
No, that's where they go to the planet.
Take
They go to the
take
planet
your
and they have to
out.
go through the Despair Squid. I can't remember what it is. Yeah, I can't remember now. And it's they just keep having those weird that weird flashback to being back on Earth, and you know, Lister's a fucking the director of the fascist police and shit like that, and fucking Cat's Dwayne Dwibley. Dwayne Dwibley. Oh my God, that's the funniest shit. Later,
Yeah.
RPG Exile.
Yeah. See you later, RPG Exile.
I don't know, when it was the very first time I saw
Will never be
Queeg,
an
I
exile
fell
in my
out of
heart.
the chair.
RPG Exile. But anywhoozle, so we talked a little bit about Red Dwarf. That counts as sci-fi, kind of. Actually,
It's not even sci-fi
Red
Saturday,
Dwarf is
so
pretty much hard
nice.
science. Like, because the Red Dwarf is stacked like that. It produces gravity by its acceleration.
Yeah.
And also, there's no faster than light travel. You just,
What about
Go.
the Holly Hop Drive?
that's later on. And all the creatures they meet on different world are all Gelfs. They're genetically engineered life forms that humans made before the humans vanished or something.
Yeah, except for the cats.
Except for the cats, which evolved down in the hold.
Yeah.
And their major leap to civilization was being able to operate can openers.
And then they had a civil war.
And then they had a civil war over what color the hat was that their god wore in paradise, Fuchsia or Fuzel.
There's no robot hell. There's no robot heaven. Where do all the calculators go?
And it turned out both sides were wrong, because one side said they would be blue and their side said they'd be red, but Lister said no, they're going to be green.
Yeah.
Because they thought Lister was God.
You ever see the
Lister
American
was stupid.
pilot they did?
I was just going to ask. Yes, it was.
The second one, no, but the second one that had Terry Farrell as the cat actually wasn't bad. Like the first one was awful. But the second they did 2 pilots, and the second one they got Terry Farrell from who's on later on DS9 as Dax to play the cat, and it's actually not horrible.
I've only seen the first American trailer, and I was like, yeah, I just threw up in my mouth.
It was awful.
It's like, what's going on here?
I was also kind of bummed when they replaced Kachansky. I could not get into the second actress.
Dude, there was like 5 Kachanskys on that show. Because whenever they do a flashback, before they brought Kachansky in as a main character after a while, whenever they do a flashback, it was always a different actress playing Kachansky.
Who was the one who was in, I think, Altered Images, the singer?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, she was my favorite.
You guys are going way deeper into it. I mean, I know a little bit about Red Dwarf and shit, but again, I never worried about who actually.
The last actress was just awful.
Oh, Elizabeth Moorhead was the last actress. You're thinking of Chloe Annette. Was Chloe Annette the singer? Hang on, let's check.
Pretty sure it was Altered Images.
Okay, are you good? You gonna climb up the fucking chair? What are you gonna do? All right, there you go. You feel better?
He's like, I'm a cat. I'm going to do whatever I want to do, and you're going to deal with it. That is the relationship we have here. FYI.
Make up your mind, buddy.
Hey. And he's like, no, I'm a cat, and we don't ever have to make up our minds. It's like, it's in the Bible somewhere, actually.
I don't see you're a musician, dude. Sorry.
Must be in the Orange Catholic Bible because it wasn't in mine.
I was just saying that to be funny, but you know. Cats are going to cat.
Yes, they are. They're going to cat. It's what they do.
Cats are going to cat. And you either love it or you don't tolerate it. Like me, I'm sad that we no longer have the cats that we were cat setting for my friend, brother. But I'm happy that I don't have to clean the litter box anymore. And now my house smells like, Hawaiian breeze, strawberry something instead of
cat piss.
Yeah, cat piss. So it was like the other day we come in after being out all day, and my wife was like, smell that. And I smelled, and I was like, smells like a tropical flower garden. She's like, right. I was like,
are you thinking of Suzanne Radigan, dude?
Like, man. But the cats were cool. I'm not going to lie. They were pretty cool. I liked them.
No, it was...
Well, I don't even know what you guys are
Claire Grogan.
The last one?
No, I couldn't stand her.
She was awful, but she wasn't in a band, was she?
Claire Grogan, I think, was in Altered Images.
Claire Grogan? Who the fuck is Claire Grogan? Thank you for knocking the mic over on your way out, Beans. That was awesome. You're a mensch. Claire Grogan?
Yeah.
In series 1, 2, and 6, she was played by Claire Grogan, and then Chloe Arnett for 7 and 8. Okay. And you didn't like Claire Grogan, even though she did it in 1, 2, and 6.
No, Claire Grogan was the singer from Altered Images, and she was in season 1, 3, and 6, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Man, so much. There you go. We've already isolated 4 fucking Kachanskys. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, that character was played by enough people. We're good.
Right. It just, if you remember in the beginning, like in episode 1, she was just like a smart ass, like kid sister kind of, rebellious kind of,
Is this what we would call your
accent and seem like lower class English?
Right. And then she was replaced by like Arnold Rimmer as a woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, she was replaced with a much more attractive woman with a higher class English accent.
Be that as it may, it's just the original one. I could see, hanging out with and having a good time. Whereas the other one would just be freaking work, go all the freaking time. You know what I mean? And that's.
And like Lister had almost like the Liverpool thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to buy a farm of Fiji and raise. What do you say? I'm going to buy sheep and goats and raise horses. And you're going to raise horses with sheep and goat? Well, no, with horses and horses.
That's just,
That was
You know,
that was
Fiji's 3 feet underwater right now. Yeah, but you can get a drainage grant these days. Freaking Dave. He was so dumb.
You know a show I miss? Titus. I miss Titus.
the first 2 seasons were awesome.
geez.
Fuck,
I heard
that
the
show
third,
was good.
but
You're
you
going
know,
way
I
back.
never saw the 3rd season. But I
It
heard
was
that
fine.
the
It was
the,
fine.
the,
It
the
was
same lady who got rid of Firefly was the one that
Yeah.
also wanted to get rid of Titus.
Yep. Same lady who also got rid of that
you
80s
mean
show.
the series with Stacy Keach?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Which still has one of my favorite bits ever, which was they said when they were going to the birthday party for Stacy Keach, and they're like, "Wait, he's there ahead of us. You left Dad alone in a bar," and then they cut to a shot of Stacy Keach looking at the camera, and underneath it says Jean-Claude Van Damme fan cam, and he's like, "Say that again." He's like, Jean-Claude Van Damme could kick Chuck Norris's ass. He's like, it's so funny. I just
Actually,
love
one of my
Stacy
favorite
Keach in
things
that
is
show.
when he's playing the young kid. He's coming over and he's like, "We can do better, old man. We can do." You know,
Have you guys seen Christopher Titus lately?
He's gone.
Yeah, but I don't
woke.
care about that. We're talking 20 years ago. I'm not going to look
Yeah.
at what people are now. Anyway, the but he was going over and he's going,
Your shit.
what are you going to do about it, old man? He said, "I didn't realize he was just resting." And then they showed the fist cam and they showed you know, after his head. I was like, "Oh, that's."
I
awesome.
showed it to my fiance at the time. She was an Indian girl, and she fucking cried laughing watching that show. She thought it was the funniest thing she ever saw. Dave, yeah, like, fuck, that show was good.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I try not to fight with her because she's Irish. Well, North Irish. And then they cut to the shot of her washing the dishes, and you see the car explode in the fucking window, and she's
Oh. It was. I heard that it was so dark he had to get waivers from all of the people. I was like, yeah, but those are the kinds of things that I mean, with my terrible sense of humor, that's the stuff that I want to watch. I don't want to see all the stuff nowadays where just people are whiny. I'm like, quit your.
well, that
whining.
lady who canceled that and Firefly also canceled that 80s show. And if you actually watch that 80s show, it's not a horrible series. The problem is that it wasn't that 70s show, so people fucking hated it instant, like naturally. But
What was that other show?
the girl who played the record store boss, the older actress, the older comedian, she was interviewed by a friend of mine when she was up here for Just for Laughs for a radio show, and she said we were literally canceled for 50 cents. He's like, what? Because they basically took our budget, they took our income, went down the list, and there was a deficit of 50 cents. So they canceled us over 50 cents. Because the woman was just looking for a reason to cancel them. You know what I mean? So that was her reason right there. They're not profitable.
Did any of you ever see that other show Nathan Fillion was in? I think it was called Drive, that also got canceled after like 15 minutes.
Well,
no, but he was in the one where he played the author, and that show went on forever.
Oh, Bones?
Castle.
Bones.
No, Castle.
Castle.
Oh, yeah. It's got my number 2 in it as well.
Oh,
That
God.
skinny
Really?
little girl, that's the sister of
Santa
Zoe.
Katic, are you
what's
high?
her name?
Yes. The woman is gorgeous.
You have the strangest taste in women, my friend.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I know he's referring to, but my friend was, you know.
When she does that Russian accent, oh, damn. It's all over.
I mean,
dude.
are you talking to me or are you talking to him?
Him.
Everybody.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
Stana Katic.
I do like the Halloween episode though, where
He wears the Firefly
Castle
outfit.
dresses up as Malcolm.
As Malcolm Reynolds, yeah.
And he's like, I'm thinking about going as a space cowboy.
She was also in the Librarian.
She's also in Quantum of Solace.
Yeah, I think he was.
I just.
He has
So
fake
that-
teeth.
The funny thing is, I saw only one episode of Firefly, and you know what gets me about it is
What?
when it came out, I saw one episode of Firefly.
Okay. All right. I was about to just.
No, it wasn't until my friends gave me the DVDs. You know, they had the whole series, and like, oh yeah, Firefly. I'm like, hey, can I borrow this? Like, oh, this is great.
Yeah,
You know
no, it was
what?
same for me.
I
I watched
actually-
it live and I was like, what the fuck is going on in the show? Because they aired everything out of order, right? So after
Yeah,
like
they
3
aired it
episodes, I
all
was like,
out of
I'm
order.
done with this. I'm not watching this. And then my buddy got the DVD set. And he's like, dude, it's in order. You got to watch it. I watched it in order. I'm like, fuck, this was brilliant. I really liked this a lot. And then the fucking brown coats happened, and I fucking hated that fandom movement so much.
You'll never guess, though, one of the reasons that they did what they did to kill Firefly. The argument with Fox executives was that it was a pro-Confederate series.
Yeah.
So all of the fat New Yorkers sitting in their fat offices were pissed off. Plus, for some reason, Will Wheaton, who I think is Canadian or some shit.
No, he's not. Do not fucking put that on us. Yeah, he is not Canadian.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay, you're sorry. All right, okay.
Naming like all the characters after like Confederate generals, like you had Jubal Early and all this kind of shit. And apparently it just pissed those executives right off. So they wanted to kill that shit before it could even get going.
I don't even know what was the problem with it, because it wasn't just that. It was the same one with Titus and everything else. I think, sometimes whenever they get a new executive, they have to cancel whoever did the stuff previously.
No, that's exactly how Hollywood works.
Well, with Firefly, I know that played a part of it.
So if you ever want to know why Event Horizon got treated so shittily, is that the producer who greenlit Event Horizon left while they were shooting. A new producer came in, and one of the things producers have to do when they come in is immediately kill every project that they didn't greenlight, because it's this pissing contest they do, right? So because that project was already being shot, they cut the promotion budget for it. They did this, they did that. They hated that movie so much, they stored the fucking negatives in a Romanian salt mine.
Where they got burned or something?
Well, they got corroded by the salt. They were destroyed. So who the fuck stores film negatives in a salt mine?
An asshole, because that, in spite of its flaws, is one of the best sci-fis ever made.
It's the best Hellraiser film I ever saw.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely up there. A lot of people call it 20K because it's like 30K and 40K, but a little before.
Earlier.
Okay.
Because when they jump to the other place, apparently they go through hell.
Yep.
I mean, man. They can explain everything. I know like people who don't know shit, and they're like, why did the long haul had all the weird? And it was like, it was designed that way for a purpose.
Yep.
It was to reflect back, whatever. I mean, nothing in that film was just done just cause.
Yeah, that movie is up there in the top 3 favorite horror movies of all time.
World War II's in the green room, dude.
Oh, except, of course, for the one dude who mistranslated the Latin. It was like that was a big mistranslation.
Oh, it means save us. No, it was liberate tutte me. Save yourself.
Save yourself. Right.
Yeah, I long to. I wish I could have seen the hell orgy scene, the uncut.
Yeah. They literally hired amputees. Of course you did. They hired amputees to come in to play some of the scenes in that. Like it was apparently a freak show of a sequence.
Well, I mean, there were a lot of sequences they cut though. There's like an hour plus worth of movie that hit the floor.
We will never see it because they destroyed the negatives.
There's a special place in their own hell for people like that.
Unless somebody in the far future gets their hands on the script and decides to do a remake or an anime.
Or they find that one print that was sent to Spain and wound up being stored in some Generalissimo's house, and then they find it, because that happens all the fucking time,
Yeah. Or somebody's looking at an old computer in their garage, and they're like, I wonder what's on this hard drive.
Holy fuck, it's all the footage that they exactly. Right. There is a VHS copy of it from the VHS rough cut they did, but apparently it's really shit quality.
Yeah. That was a good movie.
The executives, because no one was watching any dailies. They were just like, because there was that there was a changeover and all this crazy shit. No one's watching any fucking dailies, right? And then when they did, they're like, holy shit. It's like, what the fuck
and because there was a movie got changed its release date, so they were also forced to push up their release date.
Yeah.
It's a clusterfuck of a brilliant film. You know what I'm saying? It's
brilliant. and full of amazing actors who all put in an amazing freaking bit of work.
Well,
I love the fact they couldn't get Denzel Washington to play the other black guy, so they got a guy who essentially does a Denzel Washington impersonation for the whole film. And
Right?
he's so good, and he's so good, you know.
Great, man. He did a great job.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah,
cool
that's just a
about
good
is like
movie.
he made that ship purposely to go get his wife, right?
Yep.
And because she fucking wasted herself, she's in hell. So that's where it went. It went where the wife was. She was in hell.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. That's a good kind
Which
of like.
goes to prove he's not.
Well, gentlemen, as much as this topic has finally been one that I can participate in, I do have to go.
Ain't that
No
the
worries,
way?
man.
What?
Good having you on board.
Thank you, sir. What did you say, James?
I said, ain't that always the way?
It's just the way it is. Next time I come back, you guys will talk about Warhammer and miniatures for 5 hours. It'll be great.
And you'll be like, oh my God, I'm falling asleep.
Fuck. Oh, look, Battletech. Yay. Anyway, peace, love, and geek, guys. You have yourself a good night.
All right, see you later.
We'll dumb it down and we'll talk about dipping. Your favorite way of painting shit, just the dip method.
Actually, I watched a video on the ink wash dip thing where the guy basically would paint it with the rough paints, dip it in the wash, and then hooked it up to his fucking power drill and just spin off all the shit. Dude, those minis look tight. And the one thing I liked is he didn't touch the eyes. He didn't put any ink on the white on the eyes. So all the characters looked like they were from a Fleischer Superman film.
That's awesome.
And it looked badass. Like it was like, damn, that's pretty good.
Those dips, those are great. I mean, they're just like wood stain. You can just
Yep.
My Confederate Army is done with Army Painter dips, and when they dry, it takes like 24 hours for them to dry, but you ain't got to worry about hard coat or any of that shit.
Okay, that's it.
It's
Like you to go. I've participated a little bit in your mini nerd shit, and I'm out now. Peace, love, and geek, everybody.
Take care, Bear.
Yeah, I painted up the Orphan Brigade, so like the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Kentucky regiments for Warlord Games.
Yeah.
And I started painting up Wisconsin because the Black Hats or whatever they're called from Wisconsin, they were one of the units that fought a lot in Kentucky.
Okay.
So but these miniatures are like yay tall, so they're kind of easy to paint. They're like 13 mil or 15, somewhere in that neighborhood. So you just kind of like paint all their pants blue, like a really baby blue. Paint their jackets whatever color, paint their hats whatever color, paint the gun, then run them through the dip and spin it out and let it dry. And it's like, all right, base them and go.
I have never used a dip ever.
They're good.
If
Dude.
you're trying to paint 1,000 figures really quick, they're amazing.
I have got about 1,000 minis that need to be assembled right now, but they're all different, so that's not going to work.
There's a nerd. What is up, nerd?
Yeah, nerds. We asked you, about your recent video, and you didn't, I guess, hear us. It's weird because you told me how you did it, and then I went to go find the comment, and it was gone. So maybe you could.
I've been having lots of problems. I've been having lots of problems with comments too on my channel, man.
Yeah, my only issue right now is subscribers. I picked up like 20 some odd subscribers in less than a week, and I keep getting one and losing one, getting one and losing one.
Yeah,
because I'm like a gnat's wing away from 800, and we all know that once you get close to that, stuff has a way of not happening.
It's like the same person that keeps like subscribing and then waiting a little while and unsubscribing.
I had that issue when we were like right before we got to 666. That happened. Everybody wanted to be number 666, which is weird.
Well, I mean, apparently in Hebrew it spells Nero.
that's metal though.
And also, Iron Maiden had an album that had a song on it that talked about it.
666, the number of the beast.
I lived alone. My mind was blank.
And then when we were like looking forward to 777 last week, we were at 776, and then we just jumped right past that into 780. Now we're at 797, just 3 away from 800, and it was kind of nice because we were stuck, at the same number for like 2 months.
All I know is this monkey's going to heaven.
Amen, brother. And
I don't, that seems pretty, anti-Christian of yourself. I think
This
they're the
monkey's
ones who are
going
going
to
to
heaven?
judge you, right? Just assuming you're going to make it.
It's a song from Pixies.
Oh, okay.
If
Okay.
5 is man and 6 is devil and 7 is God, then this monkey's gone to heaven.
I don't think I've heard that song.
I don't assume anything. I don't even
never
assume
been
heaven
Pixies.
exists. I just
And
really
Nerd
hope
says
it does.
Nerds used a few different tools to bring it together, from Paint 3D to Bing AI Image Gen to FL Studios. So who did the voice though?
I guess I missed her last video.
It just came up a couple hours ago. And did you write the lyrics? And questions like that were popping in my head.
Yep, this monkey.
But it was really well put together.
Telling you,
Hey,
But
man,
then
they're
again, you can be forgiven World War II because I don't know if you listened to that kind of alternative rock back in the
yeah,
80s and 90s.
Dude, I used to be in Denton, which is the University of fucking. I can't remember the fucking. Anyway, I used to roadie for a bunch of bands. I used to be in that scene. I've actually hung out with the fucking Pixies before.
So, just got a bad memory these days. That's all.
Oh shit! I hear that, bro.
Yes.
When you're the roadie, you don't really get to hear the music much. You're doing other shit.
Yeah,
Pumping cable, man. Yeah.
you're freaking collecting the hottest chicks out of the crowd.
Shit. It's true. Hey, look, I got some of the bleed off.
Getting them the backstage tickets.
Not sloppy seconds or anything like that, but like the ones who didn't quite make
the cut.
Yeah. Yeah, he's all like,
I screamed into a microphone, and even I didn't get the hotties. It's always the drummer.
I need
Always
a dirty woman.
Yeah,
That's
the
a great
damn
song.
drummer's the one that always befriends the roadies too, because he's like, "Hey man, can you help me with my set? I'll be right back, dude. Just load it up, and I'll be right." Shit, motherfuckers disappear while you're loading their kit.
Yeah.
Because they're banging somebody out in the parking lot.
Roadies for like Motley Crue trying to load that kit. I don't know if you guys ever seen the drum kit that the drummer for Motley Crue had, but that thing was
Tommy Lee? Yeah.
that thing was crazy.
Yeah, I have to say the coolest drum kit I've ever seen set was fucking Rush when they.
Well, I mean, come on, why is that?
You know what? Actually, I saw Golden Earring open for Rush for the Signals tour, and Golden Earring had been around for decades prior to Rush even being born.
Twilight Zone.
Yeah, and their drummer did a solo because he had to, because Rush was going to come on stage next. He did this freaking amazing drum solo, right? And his chair had a catapult in it that launched him into the air, and he landed as the rest of the band was up on stage, like doing their bows. He landed right in the middle, perfectly, like on the freaking X. Okay, somersault, landed on the X, and did the bow with the rest of the band. I'd never seen a better drum solo in my life.
Stands alone.
He was awesome. Don't get me wrong, he was awesome. But
I mean, no matter how hard Dr. Krieger keeps trying to get YYZ down, he never does.
Yeah.
Dr. Krieger. He never gets it.
Archer.
He's trying
Love that
to.
show. That's the
Of
only
course you
show.
love that show. And he's
That's
not a
the only
doctor.
show-
Doctor is his first name.
That is the only show I would watch on Netflix. And as soon as I'd gotten to the end of the line, where Netflix only had like season 5 or 6 or whatever, as soon as it was over, I would go right back to the beginning. And I did that for like 2 years. After Jackie had gone to sleep, it's like I'd be painting or something, and I would just go, Archer time. And of course,
Cheryl or Charlene or Charlotte or that crazy chick is like
the guy who
She was
plays
one of my
the
favorites.
voice, the guy who does the voice of Archer, right? I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
His first gig was home movies. It was like these kids who make.
I remember it. I remember it was awful.
Like
it was done just like it was done in the
he
same
was like the coach.
He was
Yeah.
the coach.
It was
Yeah,
the
And
same
he always
coach.
looked like he was
That
wearing like
shit
red
for,
footy pajamas.
Dr.
He's
Cat.
so fucking funny in that.
Remember that show,
Dr.
Dr.
Katz
Cat?
was
I
a
think it
different
was.
one, yeah. But it was the
But
same
it had
like
that same sort of seizure-inducing
squiggle
animation. It's like they literally had some Koreans who had
That show got
epilepsy
by
dry.
the fact that it was just funny though. Like the lines in it were hilarious. So even though the animation sucked, it was just hilarious to listen to him, interact.
Yeah, I don't like him in person. I've heard him mouth off and say some stuff, but it wouldn't be the same without him. And as long as he sticks to the script, like Nerd said, I haven't watched the last, the end of Archer because, I don't want it to be over. Kind of like the same thing with the Venture Brothers. I want to watch it with Jackie, and I haven't seen season 5,
It's
6,
not
or
bad.
7.
I mean, it's not a huge like everything's resolved kind of thing. It just kind of.
And
Which
actors
one,
don't
Venture Brothers or Archer, or both?
The movie, or Venture Brothers, the new movie.
You're talking about
It
the
kinda
baboon
tightens
heart
everything.
or whatever. The
Yeah,
baboon
it
heart?
kind of tightens everything up, but I mean, it's not like some huge like, oh my god, it was like.
It's
Amazing.
just a 90-minute regular cartoon. It's not like they do anything special with it.
Yeah, it's nothing huge like ground.
Kind of like Serenity was for Firefly. It tied stuff up, but at the same time, it wasn't over, not even remotely.
No. This wasn't even like that. This was kind of
really?
No, it was kind of like, hey guys, we'll let you do three episodes, kind of thing. That's what it felt more like.
Yeah, I was watching some of the later parts of Archer, like the dream sequence and stuff like that, and I'm like, it's okay, but it kind of lost its magic, I think.
Sure.
After a
Is
certain
that was
point.
when he was in the 80s or whatever?
Well, there was the film noir style. There was the tropical island, and then there was the sci-fi. And I just like, this is just not as
I didn't
good.
see any of those.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to buy the complete DVD series of Archer. You can pick it up for like $100, but I know it's just going to drop if I wait a little while. And I bought DVDs recently, and they're still sitting on the shelf. I haven't watched them, so I was like, you know what? Even if I buy it now, would I literally, drop everything to watch it? Probably not.
Shadow's gonna be the last man that has like physical media.
No, I've been buying physical media because they keep changing it, or you can't watch it anymore. It's,
You can't. There's a lot of things you can't find on like Amazon or Netflix or whatever, and even finding it on DVD is getting hard. Some of the old movies I was talking about, I was fortunate enough to pick up Silent Running, Sun and Green, Logan's Run.
It's so funny. Like for me, I don't. Why do you like Silent Running so much? Because I mean, that guy is like a fucking hippie. He kills everybody like on a hippie level 5 million.
Okay.
Strange that you would be into that one so much.
Okay, first off, my old man had me watch it when I was, way younger than Jackie. It's like I came home from school. He says, this movie's on at 3:30. You should watch it. And like my dad said that. I'm like, okay, this is going to be good. Okay. And so I've got a lot of fond memories of that era, being like ahead of the curve, watching all these conspiracy things, when my friends were out, playing basketball or, shooting BB guns, I'd catch a really great movie that I would never see again, anywhere else. And, the way I see things going, I could see that being, potential future for Earth. Obviously way off in the future. And just the concepts and ideas and the special effects, the ship. I loved the domes, that whole dome ship idea. It was just gorgeous. Jackie actually used a scene from that movie without my input. He just said, I'm grabbing this and put it in. I think it was episode 2 or 3 No, it wasn't even that. It was a short he did on his channel, and he put a scene of that in, and I was just like, okay, that's why. You know.
Well, you also forget that it was a really pretty good Iron Maiden song.
Yeah.
Was there?
Yeah.
Yeah, running silent, running deep. We are your final prayer. But they're talking about submarine.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
but it was just, you know, it was.
But it had a great guitar riff in it.
It was a movie that, you know, was very different from all the other sci-fi movies out there. You know, it was just, you know, kind of like just, you know, made you think, you know, hey, maybe, you know, I shouldn't litter, or, you know, maybe I shouldn't do certain things, you know, to the environment. Not that I'm an environment guy at all. I think the sooner we burn through this planet and head out to the stars, the better. But, you know, it did have just some magical moments. The robots were amazing. You know,
I take meds that make it where I can't think.
Want to share?
You're pretty far away. And besides
I'm
that,
easy.
they'll be putting them in the public water where you live anyway.
You're probably right. You know, that's probably why I don't have those feelings anymore. They probably, you know, like got a main line right to my house.
It's like it's going to be like the movie The Priest.
Or Equilibrium.
Yep, that's the one. Equilibrium, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That movie is,
take the drug.
you know, if for nothing else but the gunfight, you know, the gun katas they call them, it's worth it. It is so worth it. Not a fan of Christian Bale in any way, shape, or form. And I could, it just I don't know. He seems
Christian
like, you
Bale
know,
is one of the best actors of the modern era.
really.
That dude can play anything, like literally anything.
I think it's because he reminds me of who's that guy? That blonde guy who was in Sahara.
You're gonna have to be a little bit. The only Sahara I've ever seen.
Yeah, McConaughey. Yeah, he reminds me of that guy in real life. The two of them are like very similar. I don't know why. Just
okay, it's okay. You're allowed. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
You know, fake everywhere he goes, on and off screen. Just kind of, you know.
Dude, he was amazing in American. What was it?
Psycho.
American Psycho. Yeah, that was like.
I hear that a lot.
I love that movie.
That's a fucking twisted ass movie, man.
Well, yeah.
I'll see that one eventually. Oops, sorry, nerds. I was trying to.
We have the Matrix at home. No, Equilibrium's better than the Matrix.
Hey, HD. I just at the beginning of the show, I said if you want in, let me know and I'll drop the link. I'm dropping the link.
There's angry tabletop nerd being angry
because I don't see on.
I'm mad as hell. I like a ticking board.
Because I'm having not Discord, Rumble. I need to fix my stuff over on Rumble. I haven't had a video automatically upload in forever, and I just haven't had the time to sit on the phone with Rumble and find out what the heck is going on with all that. But dude, you want to pop in and talk about movies while we paint up some minis?
I just watched a crazy anti-war World War II movie called The Victors. You guys ever seen that?
No, I'm not familiar with that one.
It's like 2 hours long, and it is just like, it's good, but it's different, and it's got like George Papard's in it. Eli Wallace is in it.
Eli Wallach?
Eli Wallace.
Dude, I am absolutely amazed.
Are you talking about Wallace or Wallach? Yeah. Because Eli Wallach was the one in it was the one that did Tuco in the
he played Tuco, the Bad and the Ugly.
Yeah. He's like a sergeant in that one. He's like the Sarge.
Yeah. I remember reading him talking about the filming of that movie because he's a Jewish guy from New York. And then they dumped his ass on a horse.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you all doing today? How are my favorite Gen Xers?
Hey, what's up, man? How you been?
Oh, I'm good. I just got down here to get some work done. I've been painting up like a madman, so I have been all quiet on the Western Front as far as the socials go, and I had to work Saturday, so I wasn't around. Oh no, I went to a game Saturday, and I got mauled. And the worst part is I can't make a battle report of it because it's not that I lost. I'll take my mauling. It's that I was right underneath the speaker, and it must have been a Who countdown weekend, and I'm not getting away with that even on Rumble. So, you know, when I have like 15, when every other song is "Who are you? Who, or what's that other one?
Teenage Wasteland.
Like,
Teenage Wasteland. Yeah. When every other song is that, I you know, there's just the video was shot after. I was so pissed about it.
You can put a voiceover. You can do like, you know, duck, quack, quack, whatever the fuck you want to do over it.
I don't know how to audio scrub or do any of that stuff.
You just get the audio and you put it all the way to the 0. There you go.
What were you playing?
I was playing Old World.
Oh, nice. Bretonians?
Not yet. I'm looking at them right now. I've got all of, what is that? 18 knights done with my paladin. So 19 mounted dudes. I've got some men-at-arms right here, but the arcane, the journal came out for the orcs, and I'm a little disappointed. It's kind of a limp dick of a release. It's they could have done better. Like, oh, come on, you guys. Like, I'm sure I'll find some way of playing these guys. It's just I was really hoping to get Grimgore, and they gave you two special characters. One's a goblin on a wolf. The other one's a what do you call it? A wizard, and his name is Swamp Digger.
Swamp Digger.
Well, I mean, and I'm not defending Games Workshop because F them, but the Old World is supposed to take place during a different period from when Grimgore would have been around.
I
Hey, Nerds has
believe.
a question for you guys.
You got a question?
Nerds does.
No.
How
Old
is
World?
the Old World?
It has a few flaws on just where you run into a couple of vagaries in combat where it's like they didn't word it very well. So if I outnumber you by 50%, I roll my leadership test after losing. Let's say I lose combat drastically. I roll my leadership, and then if I'm not outnumbered, I give ground and move back 2 inches. If I'm outnumbered, I roll my leadership and I roll 2d6, pick the highest, run away, and then if you catch me, we turn around and fight again. Whereas if I get down to that 25% marker, it's what do you call it? I take a break test and I just flee immediately. You know, it's really weird in the way that it was written in that side. And then you run into some things like with Tomb Kings, they are able to bring a crown that allows them to resurrect their guys almost endless. So it's like if I have 3 Tomb Kings at 160 points, they each have the 30-point crown. What were you guys thinking, you a-holes? And it's like, because they have.
Yeah, that was a common tactic back in the day with vampire counts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's a bloodline ability. The ability to resurrect the skeletons is now a bloodline ability, and it's like it's a common magic item for the Tomb Kings to play resurrection. So it makes undead are looking pretty good. I'm just not interested in them right now. I'm just trying to make my Black Orc army work, and it did okay, but you know it's going to be it's going to be a challenge, a cat and mouse game.
I think you need some new dice, brother. Your dice are shit.
Give me 1 second. I gotta get some. They are shit. They have always been shit. But I just gotta get my glue real quick. It's right. Just hold on.
Well, I mean, at least he got an army book.
I mean, there are such thing as bad dice.
Like my army didn't even get a book. They're just kind of like, yeah, you can play these dudes if you want, but we're never gonna do anything. And
what army was it?
I have about 6,000 points of Dark Elves.
Oh man, Dark Elves.
For some reason, Dark Elves are not going to be supported by the Old World.
That's a big thing for Nerds, a Dark Elf girl, I think.
Oh, I'm a Dark Elf player from way back, yeah.
You would
Blood Bowl,
just think
I
that
play
would go,
Dark
it's like a
Elves.
natural fit.
I've got a Dark Elf army and 40K. Well, Druki. I've got a massive fantasy Dark Elf army. And it's like, they're just like, yeah, we don't care about you guys. But, Holy Divers, since you're more into 40K than anyone else here except maybe me, what's your take on Games Workshop basically discontinuing about half of Age of Sigmar?
I was going to write a show on that, and the premise for the show is a lot of people never talk about what kind of industry Games Workshop is in. Now, they're in the leisure and entertainment sector of the economy. All right. Now, for the last ever since the COOF came along, they've been injecting fresh capital into the economy, be it stimulus checks, be it different kinds of welfare programs and stuff like that. And companies in that sector have been like just snorting up all the disposable income from these people. Now, what do we got? We've got, number one, we've got inflation, and it's coming back. I mean, gas prices are almost $4 a gallon where I live. I don't know about anybody else.
I would kill for those prices.
Okay.
I filled up my gas tank at $2.87 just 2 days ago.
Yeah, mine's about $3 around here. Well,
what planet are you guys on? We're paying
Texas.
like
We're not in California,
Texas, baby.
We're not in California where everything is
looking at
just
$7 by the weekend.
Good.
I'm in the free state of Florida right now.
So there, and as people, food inflation is another thing, that you got that guy from the company of Kellogg going out there running his mouth. And I thought I bought in on Kellogg at a good time. Now I'm like sitting there. That's right, you peasants, eat some sugar. It'll make my stock go up. Cereal for breakfast. People didn't like that, but they're in the leisure and entertainment sector. So if people don't have free money thrown at them via government stimulus and this is what's been propping up the tech industry. Games Workshop is, in some ways, with the Sigmarines at least, they're what you call a mature product. They've made so many of them so fast because people have been getting free money, basically, to do whatever they want with. And now that money's gone, in all respects, 4 years later, there's no way, you can't just do a release. Let's say you release something every 2 weeks. You can't just do a release, snort up, get that capital infusion, and get So one of the things that like Disney just recently did was they laid off a crap ton of employees.
Like everyone's laying people off.
Like everybody's laying, I mean, and it's tight. It's tight all over. But they laid off a whole bunch of employees, and then one of the things that they absolutely refuse to do is go down that route at Games Workshop. Okay, first and foremost, they need to get out of the UK. I know that that's never going to happen, but from a business perspective, you need to move to the States, or you need to open up a new base of operations in Singapore. You need to do something where it's going to favor you to be there. I don't care if Warhammer,
Malaysia
thing, but at the end of the day, there's only so much fresh capital that you can snort up and make your stock pump and make your stock go boom. And it's just a lot of companies in the entertainment sector are at the end of that cocaine. What do you call it? Line of K. They're at the end of their line of K.
And ketamine.
You do. I don't know what do you call a cocaine line?
Just line.
Just a line. They're at the end of their line. A lot of companies like Apple, they're at the end of their line. Nobody's going to buy the headset.
And then if you need to do more, they call that a bump.
Okay. Well,
I mean, I was always straight edge, but I know the lingo.
And Games Workshop did this to themselves a lot because, okay, so we're gonna make so many different lines of models, so many different new games. Then we look at our writing staff and we have no way to support anything that we make because we're just not set up for that side of the business anymore. So what they need, what they need to do is,
hey, Brian, James, hey.
I'd say close down at least 200 of the stores, open up a new casting facility where all they do is focus on production, distribution, and writing, and then customer service. And that would literally be the self-correcting problem, because the days of free money, they're going away. And then, people are going to be, I mean, I really think that the other side of the economy is going to be coming back into how long can we make our cars work and how long can we make our TVs last, kind of thing.
I hear that.
You
I think
mean the end of planned obsolescence?
Planned obsolescence has always existed. Let's not act like it hasn't.
What is planned obsolescence? I feel
I'm going to disagree with you now. I'm willing to bet when the Romans made a gladius for their legionnaires, they planned on that shit lasting forever.
No. Go look at the shoes. The shoes were not. They're Roman shoes. They made their soldiers buy them regularly.
Right. They even have a god of their
it's where a company designs an item to fail sooner than it should, so that you have to buy the next new item to keep them in business, as opposed to making, a tool with a lifetime warranty. They make a tool with, a 1 year lifespan, so that you go and buy another hammer.
Like a perfect example is a rod and reel where the reel has plastic gears in it.
Hell,
it'll work for a long time until you hook onto something big.
And the guns like you get at fucking Walmart, they got plastic bits in those motherfuckers now.
Right. I mean, it's like, nah, you want to get you a good pin silver or pin gold with brass freaking gears in it. So,
well, you know what, though? It's a lot of that, and I hate saying this, is most stuff isn't, it's all about cost savings regardless of how they do it. It's, it's like, look, we don't really care because, it's just like whenever I buy a microwave or something like that, it is cheaper for them to replace the whole thing. Like if you break something on your coffee pot, they'll give you the whole thing rather than just the, like coffee
Walmart
maker.
is big on that.
Yeah.
Every time I buy a bicycle for my son or myself, we buy a bike at Walmart, we get the 1 or 2 year warranty, and after a year, if we call them up and say, hey, the chain guard's busted, can you send me a new chain guard? They say, no, we'll just send you a check for the price of the bike.
I've heard this fucking bike story like 50 fucking times. When you get to Texas, motherfucker, I'm going to teach you how to drive. You're gonna talk about cars and engines and fucking nerd will have something to talk about because she's a gearhead and she'll help you out. We're gonna teach Shadow, me and fucking Omen, we're gonna teach Shadow how to fucking drive a car.
You know what? Here's what we'll do. I don't need him to drive a car. We're gonna teach him how to drive a tractor. Okay? Because then you don't have to go really fast. You just have to put your blinkers on, stay on the side of the road, and go 20 miles an hour, which I think you can do. And no one says crap to you.
So, hey, come up to Kentucky, I'll teach you how to drive a side-by-side Polaris.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's the only way you can get to like 9% of my property.
Yeah.
It's like part of it that's facing the road, and the rest of it, good luck.
Yeah, I'm a driver.
Okay, so I'm a driver too, dude. So I got a question for you, brother. How the fuck do you protect your arm from just getting baked?
How do I protect my arm?
Yeah, you just wear long sleeves?
I went into my sister's house and she was throwing some what do you call it? Some little girl's clothes away. And so I grabbed a pair of my niece's pants and I cut off the legs of those pants and I used those as sleeves. Okay, just a denim sleeve.
Because I had.
Am I the only one that wears
sleeves?
I wear long sleeves all the time whenever I go outside.
Because I'm doing that door dashing now. That's what I do. So for like 12 fucking hours, in the Texas heat, my shit, the left side of my body's like baked.
I wear sunscreen every single day, even if I'm in the cab of my truck, and I wear a sleeve. I just get an old sock, cut the end of it off, and put it on your arm.
Hey, Brian, I mean, whenever we go out to the field, it's just like whenever you work out on the roads.
Yeah.
All you do is you get a loose. You have to make sure it's loose. It's just like what people do. And you'll find it's actually cooler than if you wear than if you're wearing short sleeves, exactly for that reason. Keep that sun off. And if it stays off about half an inch or so, and then you can still feel the breeze come through. It's like, okay, that's cool.
Mel has some sleeves from her job that I just used. But they're really thick. So yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe get some kid pants.
Well, get something loose. All you have to do is get something really loose. Go to Goodwill or whatever and find their cheapest, big shirt and say, okay, long sleeve shirt.
You could probably just get one of Mel's pants.
I see you got an epic. Your arm is golden brown on one side.
It is, brother.
Look at that.
Yeah.
You got. And I still put sunscreen on this arm. It's just.
Yeah, I put sunscreen on.
I've evened out.
He's gonna have cancer by the end of the month.
Shit, dude.
Careful, man. Can't have another one of us dropping off.
My strange thing today. I got home a little early. I saw a medical truck outside. One of my neighbors dropped dead.
Oh man,
that's the worst part about getting old is everyone starts dying.
Well, my neighbors were already old to begin. All of my neighbors are like boomers, and it's just like they kind of talk about it, it's like the same kind of Golden Girl conversations that you're accustomed to. Oh, she. How did Agnes die? Oh, she died fighting a wildfire. She was 84.
I tell you, getting old ain't for pussies, man.
That's what I'm saying.
You just slowly fucking shit happens.
I recently hit 53, and it's like every time I talk to my mom, she'll be like, "Hey, do you remember so and so? They died." And I'm like, "Everyone is dying."
Yeah, it's weird because I've got buddies that I used to, hang with that just dropped dead. I'm just like, fuck.
Well, they probably got the vax though.
Not allowed to say that on the tubes. Be careful. You gotta call it the root beer float or something like that. I don't want old Shadow to get a strike.
Sorry, Shadow.
Well, you guys got to bring this over to what do you call it? Rumble. Then you make all the root beer float jokes you want. I played Alex Jones' video game. I got a strike on my channel that is never going away.
What?
What?
Yeah,
I love that.
I've got a permanent strike on mine too.
I
was showcasing a comic book, right? A Wehrmacht. Not vampire women of the Wehrmacht or some shit, right? And I put it on private. Only people that were in my fucking thing could see it. And they permanently striked me for like showing a scene of like a vampire chick ripping off a Nazi's dick and killing him with it. Like hitting him to death. What the fuck?
Getting struck for a private video? I've never heard that happening.
Private video.
I have movies uploaded to YouTube that I watch that are in private, and I have not gotten strikes.
What the fuck? I was pissed.
I got a strike once for playing a song on a live stream, and I sent an email to the band, and I was like, "Did you guys do this?" And they're like, "No." And I was like, "Yeah, they gave me a strike for that." And they're like, "That's weird. We didn't do it. We don't care if you play our music." It was weird because I don't speak Russian very well and they don't speak English very well. But we were, trying to use translator and go back and forth. And it's like, so I got in touch with YouTube and I'm like, "What are you doing?" The band said they don't care. And YouTube was like, "Sorry, somebody turned you in or something."
Yeah, there's a third party that's all that they do is kind of shake you down for that crap. And it's like, what?
Who's got the time for that?
Somebody.
Lawyers.
They make money off of that, believe it or not. That's the.
I heard some weird statistic. There's this guy I watch. He's like a musician, and he just talks about the music scene or whatever. And he was talking about, royalties, right, and how it all works, and whatever. And he said that there's a unclaimed pool of royal. They don't know where to send it. That's the thing. They got like $4 billion of royalty money just sitting because they don't know how or who to send it to because of all the legal fucking bullshit and whatnot, and it just sits there.
Alan Alda makes like $1 million a month in MASH royalties or something like that, or $1 million a year.
Really?
I can believe it.
I don't doubt it when you start looking at the Friends. What did it make? $130 million or something for those. It's like
I need to sing like Chocolate Rain or some shit. Get like big, some stupid ass song. Fat guy falls over while he's singing some shit and makes some royalty money off of it or something.
Oh, angry Gen Xer. Gets what do you call it? Hit in groin by football, like Mole Man on The Simpsons. Man getting hit by football with the groin. Oh, my groin.
Yep. Yeah,
watched The
Otavio
Simpsons
was
in
the band,
years.
and I actually talked to 3 different members of the band, and they're all like, "We did not do this."
Yeah, I uploaded a trailer, a fucking movie trailer, just a couple of days ago, called Revel.
No, Brett. We're miniature wargaming painters and things like that. But welcome to the show.
Looks like you are into electronics, Brett. I am a
That's probably
Luddite. I can barely understand how
over
this
there.
computer works. Like, I had to have my daughter set up most of everything
It's in the
No
computer.
worries.
because I'm like, what? But we do paint a lot of miniatures and stuff, and bitch. Because we're a bunch of grumblers.
Yep.
That's pretty much what
Got
we
plenty of tap water, too.
Yeah. Plenty of tab water.
Tap water.
Got plenty of tea to spill. Spilling that true tea. Actually, that's from It's a Gundam. I love watching his show.
He's pretty funny.
He's
I haven't
pretty
watched that show in forever.
I like that nerd. Hey, I mean, you're a California guy. Did you ever venture into Nerdrotic shop down in San Francisco?
San Antonio. Oh, wait a minute. He's in San
Yeah.
Antonio now.
Yeah, he moved to Texas, but back in the
No,
day,
no,
he had a shop.
I stay the hell away from San Francisco. I've been through there twice in my life, and it's always been kind of a mess.
a good place to get dysentery.
Legionnaire's disease.
Is that what they've got now in San Fran? Legionnaire's disease?
They got
That's
all
what
of it.
I'm waiting for to break out in like New York, a bad case of Legionnaire's disease, and they just were like, well, it's aberrant racism from the environment. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't that long ago that they actually had a case of the bubonic plague in California.
I thought that was Seattle.
Nope, we have it out here in Cali.
I don't know. What's the difference, really?
I mean, it happens from time to time in the States, like kind of not common, but it happens like every year somebody gets it or some shit happens. Like that.
It's from those little prairie dogs. I don't know if you ever looked at it. They actually say that the
Prairie.
plague
Filthy
is carried by
fucking
prairie
prairie
dogs.
Way to kill the whole stream over now.
Oh, shit.
What? It's not my fault that you guys don't like prairie dogs. You know, they're too cute.
Hey, they're
Can't
you know,
let
if you
them
cook them right, it's good eating.
What?
Cook 'em. Ugh.
You'd be surprised what you can eat. That is true.
Yeah, actually, I should talk shit because I've definitely 100% ate groundhogs multiple times, and they're
No,
basically
I
just
eat
giant
Chinese
prairie
bouquets,
dogs.
man. I probably eat all sorts of crazy shit. Don't even know about it.
There's
Yeah,
that.
hot dogs.
What
Like
was
if
that,
you
James?
ever ate a hot dog, there's a good chance you might eat a human.
Oh, cool. No, Brian James.
Is
put
that
something up, but
a
that's
true
cool.
thing? Like I heard the rumor of like if you eat a hot dog, sometimes people lose their fingers in the hot dog plant.
It was true in the 1920s and 1930s, which is why they created the Food and Drug Administration, because that's what was his name? Oh, Johnson. What is it? Upton Sinclair. Upton Sinclair wrote The Jungle, and they had those descriptions, and it so horrified people that they forced them to create the Food and Drug Administration.
Well, that was a mistake. I mean, I look at us now. Or I was at the grocery store today, and I was like, God, there was just one woman who was attractive, but the problem was she was also like 60, but she was done up. She had a dress on. She was thin, and I congratulated her on just being put together. And then I looked at this couple, like, why do you only have like this woman had like, okay, I'm not going to say anything mean, but she had like it looked like somebody put lipstick on a pig, but only part way in a Hitler mustache fashion. I want you to picture a Hitler mustache amount of lipstick on the lip. Like,
Yeah.
has anyone
I've
seen that?
No, I've
I've
never
seen
seen
that.
that.
Like literally just that much lipstick. You just have a little smear, and it looks like a Hitler mustache on the upper lip.
And it's like, dude, I know you like the new Dune, but in reality, it wasn't a stripe on their lips. It was stains. Because they're always drinking the juice of Jaffo.
Yeah.
Is that a Dune thing?
It is.
Yeah. It's wasn't it Sappho? It's
Yeah, I thought it was
these
Sappho.
by the bloodstained lips, blah blah blah. That
Right.
was the whole saying.
But in the new Dune, they just tattooed like a line on their lips.
Yeah, I would have rather them had just but that's fine.
Yeah,
I
just
wouldn't
drink some
impressed.
iced tea before
Not
just drink
impressed at
some
all.
iced tea before the shoot.
It's fine. It's not a huge deal.
Yeah, they even had the prayers by will alone that I set my mind in motion.
Yeah. I wish that they had included more of that, but
Yeah.
I'm not one of these people that goes, oh, it's not perfect. It doesn't
It's by
exactly
the
that, so I
juice
can't
of
ever watch it
Jaffo that
again.
my thoughts acquire speed.
Yeah.
The lips acquire stain. The stains are a warning. It is by will alone that I set my mind in motion.
Whenever I hear that, I think of Brad Dourif in the 80s.
Dorff?
Yeah.
I thought it was Steven Dorff.
Or Steven Dorff. That's it, Steven.
That guy was a very, very
That's
unusual actor. He
Hell
was
yeah,
in a
he's
lot
awesome.
of weird.
So
Yeah.
Speaking of him, fucking the Exorcist 3, which is fucking epic. You're a big
Really?
Scott. You're a big. Aren't you a big Scott fan, Diver?
Yes, I love George C. Scott. He would take any role when he for like what do you call it, the Changeling, as long as they wrote a role for his girlfriend who was in that movie. He would just do the movie. And George C. Scott I think he won 2 Academy Awards and never claimed them. He's like, that's the last thing people need are awards given to them by a retarded child. He really was just kind of like Patton in the movie, but that's how he was out in real life. Just be yourself, George. It'll come through real good.
Well, he was also known for being a raging drunk and all sorts of other stuff. So yeah.
Did you guys ever see The Rescuers Down Under with him in it?
Yeah, I missed that one.
No,
Really?
no.
I didn't even know who was in it. What part did he play?
Part 2?
He in The Rescuers Down Under, there's this guy who's trying to get these this egg from this giant eagle. It's just funny because he's just freaking awesome in that movie, being himself. It's just.
Oh, he was the Australian poacher?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. I had no idea that was George C. Scott.
Yeah.
He was good in The Changeling. I actually really like that movie.
That scene with the stroller at the top of the staircase always gets me. Like a hairs stand up on my neck. I'm like, it's the stroller from my dreams.
Yep. And of course,
Like-
in Patton, when he's fighting Rami, he's like, "I read your book, you magnificent son of a bitch."
I use that clip on my videos all the time.
You know what? Is I've read Patton's, Rommel's book as well, and it's really infantry tactics, which is why I have to laugh so much. It doesn't talk anything about the how to do armored combat.
Yeah, I think he wrote that during his Polish campaign, didn't he?
I
It was
think he
an
fought the
interwar
Italians,
book, I
didn't he?
think.
I forgot which one.
He fought in the Alpenkorps in the First World War, so he was on the Isonzo front.
Yeah.
He was one of those officers propping up the Austrians because they were completely useless.
Yeah.
And that's where Rommel was.
Well, and one
Well, it
of
was
my
also
favorite
in the
thing is
invasion
that
of-
he said,
Oop.
"Winter's the last one with a bullet." That because he got shot in the leg when they did a bayonet charge in World War I. you know, he ran out of ammo, and so he decided to do the bayonet charge. And someone had it, and so that's how he got shot in the leg. It's a good book. I highly recommend it. You know, that's what gets me about a lot of these people now. You can't read anything. Like, how are you supposed to understand your enemy if you don't actually read, what they wrote? Just like years ago, and people don't realize this, the U.S. Army used to require every officer that went over to Europe to read Mein Kampf. So my father had a copy along with the with all of the list of the of the Nuremberg trials of and how how many people were killed and everything else. And you have people like, oh, it's because of this. I'm like, no, that's because he was expected to read it as an officer in the U.S. Army. If you were going to go to Europe, that's what you had.
Well, if that's the story you want to tell them now, I mean, I'm not going to judge you either way.
Well, you know what? Well, you were enlisted, you wouldn't know. So
that's true.
That's true. But that's not fair. I mean, that's the reality, and these people just seem to want to just forget everything.
I was the E4 Mafia, baby. We got shit done.
Yeah. Oh, I know you did. My father said one time there was I guess he was in Desert Storm. He said, well, yeah, there was what was it? CID came in and said, oh, you have to do this. He said, do you have evidence? They're like, no, but we want you to break him by threatening, to court-martial him and all sorts of stuff. He said, until you give me evidence, I'm not going to do it. And then CID was not happy with him for that. He says, I'm not going to give a person, send him to jail or anything unless there's evidence. I'm not going to threaten them. And, of course, that's the tactic they want to do. But
yeah. Every time CID tried to infiltrate our unit, we always sorted them out right away. And then they'd always vanish.
What is that, like internal affairs?
Criminal investigative
intelligence.
Division. Yeah, it's the criminal investigative division within the Army.
I mean, just because you catch a bunch of mechanics doing meth, don't mean you got to mess with us, man.
I mean, but a lot of times, depending on what it was, but, something would go missing and they'd have suspicion. So then they would tell these officers, well, you're going to go frighten this guy so he confesses. My father said, do you have evidence? Like, no, but we think so. He says, well, until you give me evidence, I'm not going to do crap. Same thing happened with one time. One enlisted, she claimed that there was rape. He said, okay. He said, if that's true, I'm sending this off to go to court-martial. So he sent it to JAG. JAG came back and said, well, we don't have enough evidence. He said, oh, if there's not enough evidence to do this, I'm not giving him an Article 15. He did get him on other things, which was prioritization and a few other stuff. But no, that's the reality. It's like, look, if it isn't something you can go to court-martial with, then you don't go over to then you don't demand that they do an Article 15 either. Because, that's the thing that got me is a lot of enlisted don't understand. You can call it. You don't have to go to get an Article 15. If you think it's bullshit, then take a court-martial.
Well, yeah. In PLDC, they taught us about when that was appropriate or not.
Yeah.
But you want to handle shit with kid gloves. Like the excuse I gave is if a guy won't clean his rifle, you kind of want to talk to him, counsel him about it.
Sure, absolutely.
Figure out if there's something going on with this guy. I mean, why ain't he taking care of business? But, shit elevates,
Yeah.
And eventually it goes above your head, which is unfortunate. But the Article 15s I've had, like I said, they take some pay. Then you got to answer phones on weekends and, mop floors after, regular duty every day. And if you're in an infantry unit, it doesn't matter if they take your rank because you're going to get it back super quick anyway.
Oh, did you hear about the guy that was they called him bread and water for the Navy because he liked to use it so often. That punishment on the enlisted so often. Because I think they're allowed to.
Is that the captain that got booted?
He was one. I think it was one of them. He might have been a commander. Because they'll call him a ship's captain, but they could be commander or captain. But
I think it was actually like a captain of like a carrier.
Well, if you're the captain of a carrier, you're an admiral.
No. A captain of a carrier is still a captain.
Well, you're still a captain, but your rank is probably admiral.
No. Admiral is the one over the entire carrier battle group.
Yeah, he just that's like his flagship or whatever.
Yeah. And he doesn't even have to pick it. He sometimes picks like an Aegeus cruiser or something.
And plus, there's going to be the dude on the carrier who's actually the commander of the air wing.
Yes. So you have two captains
the same
on a
guy
carrier.
that's in charge of the ship.
Well, you have two captains on a carrier, and then you have an admiral over the battle group as a whole.
You get this, Diver, because there's gonna be a fucking test, dude.
There's going to be a test. Well, okay. So all I know is that there's a guy in charge of the planes, and then there's a guy in charge of the carrier, and then on that carrier there may or may not be a guy who's in charge of the entire carrier group.
There you go.
And the air group is big because you're going to have a couple of submarines kind of creeping about out there somewhere. Then you're going to have all your destroyers and missile cruisers.
It's like 20 or 30,000 people. I mean, it's
it's a lot. Sweep the sunshine off the sidewalk, mop up the rain, mow the lawn with a pair of scissors. Good times. Yeah. Well, I told you what they did to us. Well, I never had to do it because I wasn't that bad. But Hua School, where they PT you until you poop yourself.
Oh,
What, Pua School?
Hua School. I was in an infantry unit, so we went to Hua School.
Hua School, okay.
Yeah, and if you, because I mean, it's just natural. If your body builds up enough lactic acid, you will literally just poop yourself, like diarrhea yourself. It happens to the marathon runners all the time, and they'll get you out there. And the other thing is, if it ain't raining, you ain't training, because the whole deal is to make you as uncomfortable as possible, so you get used to it, so that you won't notice it. And where the Army screwed up with me is I grew up in the poorest part of Appalachia. So there was nothing they could possibly do that was going to make me more uncomfortable than how I grew up.
well, you know what?
It's like, what do you mean?
There's some other guys like that.
There's running water? Holy shit. I get a new pair of boots? Hell yeah.
I remember being in the Navy boot camp, and we were all making fun of the birth control glasses. And I was like, oh man, and this kid from Kentucky said, no man, this is the best ever. He said, he says, I've never had glasses in my life. And I went, holy crap.
Now I can see.
Yeah, no, I mean, to be fair,
it's that way.
Yeah. You get upper middle class or, even just middle class. You're like, oh, wow. I did not realize just how.
That's rough.
Like you go out to the field and they're like, you got to dig a split latrine, and all the city boys are like, and I'm all like, dude, I grew up with an outhouse. You think this is a problem? This ain't a problem. I ate beans almost every day of my life. This freaking MRE is a gourmet meal. It's like not pressed.
So, James, what was your favorite MRE?
I like the Franks and beans.
Oh, so the
which was
barbecue
basically just giant Vienna sausages and a bag of barbecue beans or baked beans. So yeah, who doesn't like Vienna sausages? I mean,
spaghetti sauce.
I love the cheese that they gave you, that squeezy cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Those crackers.
That's
my God, that was the best.
Oh yeah, okay, so there's the cheese and crackers. Did you ever have the vegetarian lasagna?
No, I didn't touch anything.
I don't think the Army allowed vegetarians in back when I was in the early 90s.
They Section 8 your ass right away, right?
It was like, this is the food we're giving you. You have a choice of eating it or not.
You have a choice of eating it or dying. We need to go back to that, I mean, the whole don't ask, don't tell, clinger.
Well, I remember I was like a practicing Jew at the time. It said Jewish on my dog tag, and it did not stop them from putting bacon on my plate every freaking morning. And it was just like, well, I guess you do what you do. You know what I mean? Because it is what it is, They didn't give a shit. I couldn't be like, hey, I need a special Jewish diet. They'd be like, F yourself, eat that bacon, get out of here. You got 5 minutes to eat anyway. Like,
Yeah,
what about you, nerd? What Marine MRE was the shit?
Right here, she says the jalapeno cheese and crackers were effing fire.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
The rest of the meal was.
Oh,
Yep.
My favorite was the spaghetti and meatballs.
I don't think they had that when I was in.
So
when
you were in, it was
93.
It was barbecue and meatballs at the time when you were in.
Yeah.
But they finally upgraded it for that. And then when I was in Iraq, there was a lady who was part of she was on the same base where they would do the different meals for the MREs and test them out. So they're like, yeah, they would just invite us over and say, hey, do you want to try this? And it's whatever new recipe they were going to try out to see if it was edible and things like that.
See, we didn't have jalapeno cheese, but we did. Every MRE did come with that little bottle of Tabasco sauce.
Yeah.
So, you could always just dump Tabasco sauce on whatever.
They got mad at me for eating too many MREs because I thought the food was really bad where we were in Iraq. It's like, hey, can I have this? Like, you're not supposed to eat that. Like,
I heard you're not supposed to eat those for a prolonged period of time. I've heard like horror stories of guys having like a 5-foot poop or something like that.
The worst part.
They have like anaconda shits in their fucking intestines,
like the
and they have to get pumped.
It's like the shit you see in like Mad Magazine or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about the anaconda poops, but I do know it is a good way to get fat as shit.
Oh yeah,
Because you don't digest it. It's supposed to be dense enough that you just sit there and it's like you're not going to starve to death. You had an MRE yesterday kind of thing, and then so it's like if you eat an MRE, you're supposed to be able to live off of that for what, day and a half? It's supposed to deliver basically 4,000 easy calories into your bloodstream, basically.
So basically, they treat you like sled dogs.
So when I went through my survival training bullshit up at Fort Stewart, when it was Fort Stewart, we were given 1 MRE a day. That's what you got. And all the water you could drink, if you could navigate and find the water buffalo where they hid it.
Oh, geez.
And you were in a 7-man squad, and every day a new guy had to be in charge and shoot an azimuth and look at a map, and you got to march all over frickin' Fort Swampy looking for water, and there would be the 7 MREs there, right? It's more than enough. Like Diver said, there's like 4,000 or 5,000 calories in one of those things. And that was a big problem we had in the Gulf, is the mechanics, who generally were always sitting around doing shit, except smoking meth sometimes, right? They were blowing up like the Pillsbury Doughboy, man. You'd be cruising through the freaking AO, and these mechanics would be like 350. Because they're just sitting on their ass eating MREs all day. It's like, goddamn, man, you're eating 12,000 calories a day. What's your problem? It's like, calm down, man.
He's like,
you ain't even going to fit in that 88 anymore.
Oh, no, the mechanics.
88's an armor recovery.
And, well, see, they were so fat because they were filled with anaconda poops.
I don't know.
I heard about
a lot
stuff
of calories.
But a lot of it just comes down to, people wouldn't drink. Or, I remember hearing that when I was 14. We went to the, what was it called? It was the, they used to send the JROTC, for us out into those areas, and so usually they had a MASH unit or something there, and they'd send us out there as well. It was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool, but that was a great recruiting. I don't think they even do that anymore.
Okay, so what starting with Shadow, what's everybody's favorite MASH character? I like Frank Burns. Because every now and then he'd be like, "You yellow horde!" He'd just yell that at the top of his lungs.
Father Mulcahy.
Father Mulcahy.
I like Radar. I think Radar was a cool character.
Yeah, I like the fact that they actually used the same, he was the same.
For the movie,
yeah. Though I did hear that he was just plain weird, in real life. But
he also had like one arm shorter than the other.
Potter the best.
Oh, Colonel Potter, when he was, I liked him. I liked his character when he was the general, the mildly racist general. I need a song, boy. It's in your blood. And he has that black pilot to sing when the sun goes down.
Yeah, I kind of like this whole horse sense, kind of. He was just over there doing his thing, country doctor kind of thing. I like that.
Always reading Zane Grey novels.
Yep.
Last of the Plainsmen. That was a good book.
Yellow Horde.
Well, that was and she was though. But I mean, let's be honest. Most military girls are. I mean, military girls get ran through. They get
Actually,
and he was screwing around with Houlihan, and it was just like, dude, it's like, come on, man. How are you? And the best part about Houlihan is she liked it. She liked it. Like she liked everything about Frank Burns.
Yeah, weren't they both married too? They were both married, weren't they? Yeah.
No, she got married later on to Penobscot, I think it was. I actually met her at I met her at a gaming convention of all places.
She's married.
And she did not age well.
Yeah, you guys have heard my stories.
Well, the cast of MASH is like in their 80s. You can't expect it to age
Raven?
well.
How you doing? And there's Jeff, who is a fellow infantryman, except he was the mortar maggot.
Raven. What's up, girl?
Hey, finally some of the classes join up.
At least that's what we called the mortar guys, mortar maggot.
Right. Okay.
I'm sure they call that something too.
Okay, hold on here. I got to fix my sound.
I think this is the first time I've been on a stream.
There we go. Okay.
Hello, Raven.
Hi, how are you?
I'm
No, we were
living
on a stream once before. On Hungar Show.
Oh, maybe so. Yeah, living the dream. Living the dream.
Say hi, everybody.
Hungar.
Yeah, Hungar's in the hospital still. They're trying to get him hydrated and get his kidneys not failing. So
I'll be knocking on some wood for Hungar, the Starvarian.
Yeah. Yeah, we listen.
Yep.
Tell him.
He's my favorite brother, and I have 7.
There's 7 brothers?
He's
Well,
from Apple.
only Hungar is a full brother, though, Shadow. I've got like a lot of half brothers.
Do they have 7 brides as well?
You Gen Xers should all know about that. There was a movie for your generation in like the early '90s called Step Kids.
Dude, my biological dad stepped out when I was like 4 to get milk or something, and he just set up franchises all over the place. I mean, the only thing he ever pulled out of his whole life was my childhood. Like, I never got a birthday card, a Christmas present, a happy birthday, nothing. And that dude lived like a mile down the street, cranking kids out with some other hooker.
So, okay, there was this, okay, so every now and then one of the guys in my gaming group will bring their son to play. And there's, I don't know what it is about like all the sons. They all got to give me shit for some reason and everything. I think it's like a predetermined pet talk before I give there. Now there's this guy. He's going to show up. You just throw insults at him. That's all we do. We're just going to throw insults at a whole HD and you're just going to give him one. And then finally, I'm just like, your dad could have pulled out. And he's like, what? Yeah, don't worry about it. And he did it. It went right over his head, and then it like hit him when he was walking up the stairs. He's like, "Hey,
HD, I'm not trying to one up you, but there was a kid at our comic shop that used to talk shit, and I told him he needed to shut the hell up because I could be his dad." And he looked at me like, "Ooh." I was like, "I might be your dad. You know that, right?" And he was like, "Wait, what?"
How's your mom doing?
Like, yeah, I'm saying exactly what I'm saying. You might want to calm down.
I'll be your dad.
Like,
I'm not saying I'm your dad, but I'm
I
not saying that
banged
I'm not your
is
dad.
what I was telling him. Like, I
Wow,
was literally
guys.
telling him that. You're talking a lot of shit for somebody that I've seen your mom naked. So.
I'm at the point where it's like I see this nice looking girl at the gym or something. I'm like, wonder if like, hey, you ever wonder what it'd be like to go out with a guy who is old enough to be your dad now? And that's like slowly happening to me. I've got money.
Yeah, I got money. Okay.
I got money, unlike the rest of the guys your age. Hey, my favorite pickup line now is: have you ever gone out with a guy who doesn't work at the strip mall?
Oh God.
I am so glad I got married decades ago and we stayed together. I like totally pity the single dudes coming up trying to make something happen. It's like, nah.
I need it. I need all the pity I can get. It's hard out there. It's
Dude,
real.
I don't want pity you, bro.
I could not
I will if you need
imagine
it.
dating now. Like, how the
No.
fuck do you date? Because if you go up to a girl like, "Hey, you're pretty," whatever, you're subjugating me or whatever.
No, they don't want it. No, it's like, okay, so they've reviewed Match.com analytics. Okay, they've reviewed and Tinder analytics. Like 5% of the guys are getting all the sex. Okay,
Right.
I'm not in that 5%. And then what do you call it? 80% of the men are buying all the dinners.
Yeah,
Buying all
because
the what? Buying
I've
all the
seen
what?
the same studies. If you want any play, you gotta be over 6 foot tall. You gotta be a relatively handsome dude, and you gotta make money. And if
You
you
know,
meet those 3 criteria, you are the high value male, which means chicks are just throwing themselves at you.
I've always been a pretty big guy. And shit, I never had troubles with the ladies, man. It's all attitude and confidence, man.
It is.
That's all it is.
That's how it was for Gen X, but like I don't know, something happened to the millennial girls. I want to say right around 2013. They're just like finding a man just kind of went down on the list of priorities. Like if there's a top 10 things of what women want, they're interested in men, but the level that it's either 8 or 7 on that top 10 list.
Well, I'll tell you what number 2 or number 3 now is sense of humor.
Sense of humor.
Mm-hmm. I just read one of those lists the other day. And money was not even in the top 3. But
Because
Oh,
they're
BS on that.
the younger generations, though,
Well, if she's talking about marriage, then yeah, maybe. But if she's talking about Tinder hookups, then
No. Well,
if you're not 6 foot tall, you might as well be 3 feet tall.
Hey, Diver, you're going to the wrong website, dude. We'll go to private talk, dude. I'll get you laid tomorrow, man.
oh, oh, great. Okay.
With
So
a hot-
no.
you're not
gonna
whatever you
like
want,
it, but
you
it'll
know.
happen.
I'm over 30 something else, and I don't leave the house after 8 p.m. Somebody had better be dead if I'm getting up off my ass.
Hey, wait a minute. Now you sound like me, which is like, oh yeah. No, my friend's aunt somehow wants to hook me up. I'm like, look, she has to be young enough to have children. Otherwise, I don't want to date her. I'm like, what? I'm too old. I said, either I'm going to have more children that I can use as a free labor force on my farm, or I'm just not interested.
Well, okay. So after 2017, it's like I told my mom, if I'm going to settle down and try again, I want to try again in Asia. You know.
Okay, I will say this much, and you have to be careful because I went to Cambodia and I talked to a guy, expat out there. And the women are like, I'm so old. I'm 25. Really? I'm like, okay. And so we're talking to them, and there was this bartender, expat. He's like, yeah, I had to break after my girlfriend broke up with me because I didn't want to have any kids. And he's like, yeah, that's what he says. They want children badly. So.
Well, you know, I had this. So I have a niece who's like 15 now, and she's like, I'd rather have kids at 38. Your body's not set up to have the kids at 38. I'm sorry.
Really?
I'm going to bring this up because my son, his mother is 53 now, and so almost 54. So she had him when she was 39. Here's the reality: you think that, but guess what? You're not going to have the energy. You're going to be exhausted. You're going, that's what everyone forgets about with that. I mean, for a man, it's fine, but I can tell with his mother that, number one. Number two is she had him so late that she really couldn't have another one. And she said, I wish I'd had another 2 or 3, and that's the problem with it. It's like, look, what's so special about being 38 and having a kid versus
For a
having
man,
when you're
it's
30?
just a matter of going out for cigarettes.
Yeah.
Raising children is easy.
So yeah, I got the counter to that story. There was this one conversation I had with new dad when he showed up, and it ended with "F you, Ted. You're not my real dad." And then later that day, I went to go live with my real dad. I was out, like, really, and so I always blame him. You were just there to take my mom away from me, and that's what you did. I blame you, Ted. It's not his real name, by the way. I think that Ted is like the perfect '90s stepdad name.
Yeah, it is a good one.
Like,
Hello,
screw
Ted.
you, Todd. She's not my mother.
See, I was lucky when my mother finally remarried. She married a totally awesome dude who was willing to like deal with me, which, you know, God bless him. And also willing to sign my ass over to the military when I was 17. So
Well,
God bless him, because, you know, it was that or prison. You know, pretty much everyone I knew was going to prison or getting killed or something. So, you know.
I didn't think they had prison in Kentucky. I thought they put you out on the what do you call it, the Appalachian Trail, and said walk.
Right? Like that Stephen King thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll sort itself out eventually, right? No, they got prison. My grandpa spent 7 years there.
Yeah, I've never been to. Well, shit. Speaking of, I got a fucking ticket. I was saying I've never been to jail or anything, but I had a ticket today, which sucked. But
Oh, I've been to multiple jails, and let me tell you, 33 in downtown Orlando is
hey, what's up,
terrifying.
Jeff?
Terrifying. You don't want to go there. Don't get in fights at Disney, because you'll end up at 33.
You're in a
And
fight at
33 is real deal bullshit.
Like, okay, what is 33, and why can't you get in a fight at Epcot Center?
Well, no.
Because
It was
33rd Street Jail is where they take anyone who gets in fights at Disney, because it's the
Okay.
closest one, right? But the
Okay.
other thing that's super close to it is the Black and Whites off of Paramore Avenue, which is the hood. Like straight up ghetto, welfare housing, subsidized. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Where the actual G money thugs are, not like bullshitting around pretending, like for real.
Well, yeah, where they and that street has a name. I call it Hell Street. They all live there on the same street together naturally.
Right. So when you go to 33rd, you're in there with them. And shit gets real quick. Like I sat down at the table with the other white dudes, didn't talk to nobody. Nobody messed with me. When I got my phone time, I called my mom and said, I don't give a shit what you guys sell. Get me out of here.
Yeah.
And she's like, why? And I was like, well, I sat up half the night listening to people scraping toothbrushes against the concrete floor. I was like, I don't need to be here. And they put me in the violent offender cell, too, because I was in a fist fight. I was in a cell with two dudes who were waiting for a federal bed because they'd murdered people.
Oh my God.
Right.
And I'm sitting in there like, yeah, this shit is scary.
Holy crap. Yeah.
Now, I went to Osceola jail, and they take you in there, and they look at your butt, and they give you your little suit, and then they sit you in the dorm, and you play chess until you're done doing whatever. And usually for me, it was you go in front of the judge, and the judge says they got no, evidence of anything, so go home. And then you go home. No problem, man. You're just hanging out. Like the toilets had actual stalls and stuff. It was nice.
Fancy.
Yeah, 33rd, you got a metal toilet in the corner, and when you got to take a poop, you got to put a towel over your lap, because you don't want to make any extra smelly situations, because somebody you're sharing a cell with might be offended and shank you in the neck.
Right.
Jeez Louise, it's one of those that is so terrible. Okay, so luckily where I live, it's like a mutual combat state where you actually really have to mess the person up for them to care. Like if you get in a fist fight and one of those, and you go and both people F off and go home, the police come and are like, well, what do you want us to do about it? What, he left, didn't he? Is he still here kicking your ass?
Yeah, it's usually that way, except Disney.
Well, at least the cops
Disney's
actually
super
show up.
strict, because the last thing they want is any foreign tourists or whatever being all like, holy shit.
Americans are crazy.
People are scrapping on the sidewalk in Pleasure Island. You know what I mean?
Pleasure Island.
That's where I was. I was at Pleasure Island.
No, he's correct. That was for the above 18 where they used to have.
It was a section Disney where it was all bars and shit.
Yep. We went there a couple of times. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
And little bicycle cops showed up with their short shorts, looking like that dude from that damn show, Reno.
Reno 911.
Put my ass in handcuffs, and then the cruiser took me down to 33rd. And, you know, there was a time when I thought I was a tough ass, but then I went to 33rd, and I was like, this shit just got real, you know? Like, I don't know, where's the tattoo artist that's going to, like, start putting the Aryan Brotherhood shit on me? Because, you know, it's better get raped, and I'm not getting raped. You know what I'm saying? So
Did I ask why you're in a fight to begin with? I mean, what is there to get in a fist fight for? You're at Disney. You're supposed to be happy.
Dude slapped my wife on the ass as we were walking down the sidewalk, and my sister laid him out. So then that dude had friends, so my sister started to fight. But I jumped in, and it turned into like half a block long worth of a brawl.
Oh my God.
People were fighting up and down the street. Strangers were jumping in. Like one of the dudes hit my sister, and this monstrous black dude that looked like Mr. T jumped in and hit that dude and was like telling him how you don't hit women and shit like this. Like, it was a free for all. And then everyone took off running except my dumb ass. And then Officer Dingleberry showed up and put my ass in the cuffs. Everyone
Dangle,
else
it's
got away.
Dangle.
I shit you not. Everyone else got
Officer
away.
Dangle with his shorts.
Yeah, Officer Dangle got me. Everyone else got away.
I'm glad they started making that show again over there. On they do it's like 10-minute episodes involving each officer. The best one is when they misprinted the lottery tickets and like half of them won, and they're coming into the meeting room like you and you, screw you. I hate every one of you. From now on, I'm just going to drive by here and I'm going to look at you guys from the window of my Lexus. Bunch of animals you all are. And then he holds up the newspaper that says like 3,000 misprinted lottery tickets with the winning number. And they're like, "Oh, I'm not rich. I can't quit my job." One of them came in, flipped off Dangle, flipped over his desk. "I quit."
Man. But anyway,
That would suck.
that would be, yeah, I think that would be horrible.
So whenever I think about Florida, the first thing that comes to mind is the Golden Girls, because that's where they was in Florida.
Well, it's also against the law down here to feed hallucinogenics to alligators.
Of course.
Like,
First and foremost,
that say that.
I've seen enough Instagram reels involving alligators. If I lived in Florida and the first alligator I see, I'm just going to go into my house, get my gun, and shoot it. I'm not taking chances.
Well, the rule in Florida is if there's water, there's probably an alligator in it.
That's
So
true.
Parklets is off limits, huh?
But you know what? That's also true of Houston and a lot of other areas too. So
It's true.
you know, people all forget
East
about
Texas.
this. Yeah.
Did you even have to have a law like that? Is just strikes me as funny as hell.
Well,
Look,
here's the thing.
if
Here's the
you're
thing
ever
with
just
this.
hanging out doing something, Raven, and you want to see something funny, just go on YouTube and type in Florida man.
Yeah.
That
Because
shit is
Florida
wild.
has
You
an
got people
open
breaking
record
into
thing.
other people's houses to shave their cats' heads for no reason.
Oh, you're kidding me. Oh my
They're
God.
not. And they got a picture of the poor fluffy Persian cat, and the top of his head is just completely shaved. And no one knows who did it. They never caught the guy. You got guys calling the police department up, wanting them to test their meth because they think the meth could be bad.
Oh my God.
It's like, Florida man is not the hero you wanted. He is the hero you deserved.
My parents live there in Florida. They live at the Villages.
Oh
Well,
my
see, Florida
God.
has
The number one place in Florida for STDs.
Yeah, I know. I tease them about that all the time.
no. Florida has an Open Records Act, so people know what's going on in Florida. It isn't that this doesn't happen in other states. It just doesn't get advertised. That's all.
Yeah, you can say that, but I like to believe no. We're special.
Well, guys, I'll bail out. I gotta go sleep. I'm old.
Oh, see
All
you
right,
later.
Brian. Good seeing you again, man.
All right,
It's
guys.
the
All right,
heat.
weird. You have a good day.
Y'all keep it weird.
Yeah. Bye, Brian.
But yeah, the villages, man, that's where you want to go if you want like to get involved in a bunch of key parties and
Ew.
life swaps. And I mean, if you're 80 years old, do you really care about AIDS? Not really. That's not what
I do care about getting pee
Yeah.
on me, especially if it ain't my own. Just saying, man.
Is that really a thing in Florida?
Yes.
They
Oh,
are
the-
they are
the-
number one in STDs for the state. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, but
Which is-
yeah, it's the
Yeah.
over
No
65
bullshit.
crowd.
When I worked
There's some
at the
swingers
water
there.
department, one
I-
of the things I had to do is called honey dipping, which is where you go to a lift station and you got to pull the pump to clean it. And the lift station in front of our largest area where the nursing homes was constantly plugged full of condoms.
Oh my God.
And like so they got to lower you down and you got to hook the pump and then they raise you up, then they pull the pump up. And then you got to clean the pump out. Because, it's a gravity feed sewer system, but every now and then you have to have a mechanical system to raise it up so that it can be gravity again. And that's called a lift station.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I had.
So
I
wait a
did
minute,
that
they're
for a
flushing
while.
condoms down the toilet?
And there were enough to plug up a freaking sump pump. And I mean a big one.
Wow.
Like those nursing home places, those people are just getting freaky all the time. They don't give a shit. They're 70 years old. As a matter of fact, my wife one time had a job working for a company where every Friday people would call and curse at her because their Viagra had not arrived. And the company she worked for literally called Friday Viagra Friday.
Oh my God.
And it was always like cranky old people almost as old as Shadow. And they were super pissed off because it's Friday and they didn't get their little purple pill. So they're mad. And she's like, well, we'll get it out,
Wow.
Being all professional, trying to help these old men with the boner pills.
I like how Ric Flair, the nature boy, is selling boner pills. No, this ain't your grandfather's boner pill. Woo! Everest!
Yep.
Just some Everest. Woo!
Yep.
He just rolls with it.
Nerds, right? Gators in the water, meth heads on the street. Florida, man, like there's a meme and it's like right when you're getting ready to merge onto I-4 in Orlando and it shows the dude like lock the door, chamber around into his Glock, chamber around into his AR, and it's like once he's got all of his guns chambered, then it's like you are now ready to merge. And it's like, yeah, man, some of those places. I'm lucky. I live in the suburbs, so I'm surrounded by people older than me. I'm old now, but and they're all nice. And the little Colombian lady across the street gives me avocados all the time when her tree's ripe, and it's awesome. It's pretty.
So where are you close to Orlando?
I am in a suburb of Orlando. Yeah,
I was too. I hated it. I hated it. We were really close to Disney.
Yeah, that's like the Kissimmee area is horrible.
Yeah. And we would have the UPS plane fly in at 2:30 in the morning. So low
yeah,
that it would rattle. The whole house would shake. I mean, every window, the floor, everything. And we found ourselves in a community of there were like 60 houses, and there were only two families that were not Puerto Rican, and that was all.
Yeah, that sounds like BVL or Poinciana.
Yeah, and
I mean, you don't have to like say to dox yourself, but they're still that way.
Yeah. So yeah, and we had the police helicopters over every weekend. Every weekend there was a police helicopter over the neighborhood. It was an interesting time. I didn't last long. I had to get out of there.
I wish Hungar was here so we could tell you guys, we could regale you with stories of when we lived next to the black and whites. And
What
the
is the
black and
black
white
and
are
whites?
again the ghetto.
Oh, the ghetto.
It's the projects. And we lived like directly next door on the same street. But no one messed with us. And back then we were way into the SCA. So all the brothers would like hang out and watch us beat the shit out of each other. You know what I mean? And they'd just be like, damn, man. And we'd be out there in full armor with our rattan sticks, just whipping the shit out of each other. And Hungar was sleeping with like at least half of the black chicks over in the projects. So they were cool with him, you know. He was rolling deep in the street. Like, I'm pretty sure he had his official N-word card. You know what I'm saying? Because he was just like doing it, man. But here's the bad story. He was telling the women he was sleeping with that his name was James.
Oh, no.
Oh.
And I was dating this Puerto Rican chick at the time, and she was crazy as shit, redheaded Puerto Rican girl. And some woman, and I'm not even trying to be racist, she looked like Aunt Jemima. Come knocking on the door of our apartment looking for James.
Oh,
And
no. Oh, no.
my future ex-wife was not pleased with that shit at all.
Your future ex-wife.
Yeah, she was my future ex-wife.
Oh, no. Oh, Hungar.
Hey,
So
you
what
know,
happened to
Hungar was over
Hungar?
there, man. Just run. I mean, but Hungar's got
Running
a mixed
amok.
family. I mean, I've got, you know, biracial nieces and nephews and all that. Because Hungar, you know, is an equal opportunity, whatever you want to call it. Like, whore. He used to have a shirt that just said slut across it in big red letters.
Did you?
So,
Do you ever watch The Big Lebowski when he's in the office and they're like, oh, so who are all these kids? Oh, those are Mr. Lebowski's children. Oh, okay. So like racially, he's cool. Oh, they're not his real children.
You know what? When I lived there, I had a girlfriend whose father
I need proof. Picture it didn't happen.
Was a blind professional golfer. I was like, first off, do they pay to watch a blind professional golfer? The other one
Did you say blind professional golfer?
Yes, he was blind.
And a
So
golfer.
what, did the caddy like try to explain the direction of the hole and then he tried to get to it?
Apparently that's true. Apparently, I mean, they lived in a really nice house and neighborhood. I was like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was such a thing, but
Me neither.
And then she was adopted, and she apparently did not have sweat glands, so she had to be real careful when she was outside about overheating. I was like, what the hell?
Well, you know the deal. Suffer not a mutant to live.
Well, you know what? They're good mutants and they're bad mutants.
Yeah, the good mutants are called navigators.
The X-Men.
No, navigators.
Actually, no. You know what? As I also like as long as they were stable, the squatlings and the rat.
Squats
and the ogrins. Oh, and
What's up, Travis? Long time no see, man.
I love the old 40. You know, the old 40K when they used to say, yeah, but there's some that they look the other way for if they have really strong, powerful psychic abilities. And like, yeah, okay, we'll let you stand with that, you know, with that eye in the back of your head. That's okay. You know?
Well, I mean, if you're like talking like in the role-playing game, Inquisitors could have basically anything in their entourage.
Yes. Well, I'm talking
who's
about.
Going to question them? You know what I'm saying? They're Inquisitors.
Well, there was the Inquisitor, and then the other one was the Rogue Traders had that. But I'm talking about the original 40, you know, the old 40K book, which I saw. I guess they have to special order it, but I saw that the Games Workshop had it where you could buy the original 40K book. They were reprinting it.
Why you would want to, I will never know.
Oh, I like the original 40K.
Rogue Trader?
The Rogue Trader. Yeah, they were reprinting it.
Yeah, you would.
I've got my original copy. It was it
was a damn near unplayable game.
Well, I played it, and you know we played for certain ones, but of course, it wasn't. I didn't have the thing where they started doing the point system, but
Right.
I mean, I enjoyed that. But it was more of the tactical game that I wanted for a game, rather than what 40K became at third edition and later.
See, third is when 40K actually becomes 40K. Second is kinda, but maybe
I'm
not.
sorry. To me, 40K is first and second editions when you had all the cool stuff and you could do all the cool things, and that's when they brought out, the Space Hulk and Gene Stealer and what was the other one? I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Well, you had Space Crusade, and you had the Gene Stiller one, and you had the other Gene Stiller one.
Dark Wing, the Dark.
That had
Dark Watch.
The Tyranids in it.
Well, yeah, but I liked it where they gave, that was the first one where they did the first, second, and third generation and fourth generation Gene Stealers, and so you had the Magus, and I thought that was cool. That's also where they brought out the Grey Knights.
Well, also back then it was like Gene Stealer cults were often devoted to Chaos Gods.
Oh yeah, well,
so you could play kind of we're Gene Stealers that worship corn, yay! Like whatever.
Well, I also like the old Realms of Sorcery, Book 1 and Book 2. Those were, I mean, and you could use that in your Warhammer Fantasy.
Trader had all kinds of cool stuff, like female Space Marines. They were not female Space Marines; they were women wearing power armor, and you can still play them because I have a whole damn bunch of them. Here's one of them that I'll show you, nerd. Check her out. It's a woman, a beautiful woman, even in power armor. Imagine that with a bolter.
Was that 3D printed?
No, that is a Sister of Battle.
No. If you look at if you read it, they first mention the Sisters of Battle at the very back of the Old Rogue Trader book.
Because I've never known Games Workshop to sculpt a halfway decent looking female model, unless the Perrys did. There was like two that I can think of off the top of my head that were done by the Perrys.
Plastic Sisters of Battle are actually.
What about Necromunda there, HD?
Very well done.
Most of the I play House Escher, and most of the girls in House Escher, they're kind of like the C squad at the strip club.
I'm talking original.
They're not the peak hours. They're not the A and B
I'm
team.
I'm talking the original Necromunda, not the new
edition. Well,
edition.
in the new Necromunda, I have cops. So I'm like, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when I put
I've got all the original Arbites models from back in the day.
Not the Arbites. They're called palatial something or others, but they're basically Arbites.
Yeah, the Arbites.
Rogue Trader explicitly had female Space Marines. I think they.
No, it did not. It did not allow female Space Marines. I don't know where anyone gets that. The only thing that you can find out is that there's a picture of a female in power armor. I don't remember anywhere.
But is it marked on the tab as a Marine or something else?
I think it's marked as something else. That's where everyone keeps talking about. They act like the fact that there's power armor, even though everyone could wear power armor. If you looked at the
everyone literally can. I have Inquisitors in power armor.
Exactly. But everyone wants to do it. I'm like, no. The Marines are male from everything I've ever read. If you can tell me what page and what paragraph, that'd be very different. But a lot of times people just say something like, no, they mention something that's almost like a female Space Marine, but those later become the Sisters of Battle, is what they.
Well, here's the problem. If a female could survive the globular insertion that the males do, by the time they were done transforming into a Space Marine, you probably couldn't tell them apart from a male Space Marine. They would be a big, burly, square-headed thing with no boobs or hips or anything. Just, 600 pounds of a slab of muscle and power armor.
Because you're getting the hormone of the gods when they do the holy globular insertion, You should watch
it sounds so foul.
You should watch the Space King cartoon.
Space King.
where they kidnap those little boys in the middle of the night, and they're just
turn them into Space Marines.
And they turn them into Space King. And the best part, they show the globular process. They suck out the little boy testicles, and they give him 2 like ox-sized testicles, and then like within seconds, he just mutates into this raging ultimate warrior, just foaming at the mouth.
Yeah, and then they do the thing up for his brain. They're like, thoughts have been cleansed and sanctified. And the little boy now, giant Space Marine's like, long live the Space King or some shit.
Praise be to Space King.
Praise be to Space King.
I mean, I agree that, yeah, but I liked first edition also because they were saying you can play any, sci-fi game you want as long as that's fine. I enjoyed it for that reason. I didn't even want to use it for the 40K stuff. It was just.
And here I thought I was a hipster because I play Horse Heresy.
You're playing that this Sunday.
Again, if you can show me what page and what's in there, but a lot of times people call.
I do remember an orc wearing a German field hat with a swastika on it, though. That's an actual thing they did back then.
You know what? What gets me about is everyone's freaking out over.
Alan Merritt, GW design manager at the time, said the 2 female warriors in power armor were designed as female Space Marines, but did not sell well enough and faded into history. That's
well, they may have been designed, but you know what though? It's not in any of the literature, and there's nowhere in there. Again, if you can show me where in the actual printed literature, that's fine. But
oh God, you're talking like you were in the Air Force now.
Hey,
but here's the thing, nerd, and I know you were a Marine and all hardcore and who on all that shit. But why does it matter if there ever was female Space Marines? I mean, the lore for 35 years says that females cannot survive the transformation of Space Marines. So why would we want to change that? Do you think it's going to drag a swarm of women gamers into the comic shop?
Oh, it sure will. That's
won't.
been the thought process for the last 20 years.
No,
we're just going to drown this game store in puss, everybody. They're going to come right in any minute now.
I've met like one chick ever playing in a 40K tournament. And I used to be hardcore.
But I'm going to have to laugh at for all this.
So it's just dumb. It's like, why? What? And here's the other thing. If you got a 3D printer, print out all the female Space Marines you want. Go nuts. Paint them up.
Ham.
Go ham on it. And I don't even care. Just do your thing. Because whatever. But if you come into a hobby and the first thing you want to do is change it, then you're not a fan of the hobby.
Right.
Hey, well, here's what gets me about the whole thing is, you have the collection.
I mean, I'll get off my soapbox there, but that's basically my
Tell him, Big DM.
Well, no. You have the Calexis Assassin, which is what that female assassin that comes. Yeah. I mean, you got good female characters. I'm like, why would you want to
you got the Sisters of Silence, which are they're so badass. They creep other Imperial agents out.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, ooh, they're blanks. They don't show up. Like, they're so hardcore that psychers that get too close to them stop being psychers, right? Demons can't even exist within a certain area of them, and they're only women, right? Sisters of Battle, only females. If you want to play the really badass females, play Dark Eldar.
Oh yeah, jeez.
I mean,
the Witch Elves.
Dark Eldar are a really strong army, and they're full of women. Have all the women you want. Have a female Archon riding a freaking big ass Ravager, just eating people's asses all day long. I mean, whatever you want to do. Whatever. I mean, there is no limit. Hell, you can buy Imperial Guard miniatures now that are female.
Well, don't you also have the?
You can buy female Padian.
You don't understand, DM James. If we can just diversify the game a little bit, my peen will get touched because the store will be drowning in puss any second now.
As if all of us gamers wouldn't love there to be a ton of chicks in there.
Oh yeah,
any second now.
Like we'd all love it. Even Backpack Boy and that kid that's 40 but looks like he's 12. We'd all love it if women came into play.
The kid who's
not running them off. But they got better shit to do, right?
Have you been watching?
Right? They're
kids
down.
on the
They're
YouTube?
down at the racetrack getting railed out by Chad Thundercock and riding around in a Jeep. They don't want to hang out in a.
It's the sand dunes where I live. They go out to
Right.
the sand dunes with Chad Thundercock and his Jeep.
Or out on the beach, right? Because I live near 2 beaches. And it's like, they don't want to be in an ass-smelling freaking game store pushing plastic soldiers around with a bunch of socially awkward nerds.
Of course they do. You just don't understand. You're just a boomer.
Oh, I barely want to do that. I stopped doing that.
Actually, you know what? I have to laugh.
I got
is
to the
people-
point where I was
people
like, what the
screaming
hell
this.
am I doing hanging out here?
The people screaming about all this don't even play. You can tell
Yeah,
they don't
the people
even
who
play.
bitch the most about wanting female Space Marines don't even play the game.
Exactly.
I have it on very good authority that Discourse Miniatures does not play shit.
But why does it matter? Because it's the lore, and also because the Emperor invented 20 sons. 20 sons, and each of those 20 sons has a legion of thousands of sons. And that's
The
just how it
holidays
is.
must be rough around that household.
Well, wait a minute. How much do you love with the old Imperial Penal Legions where you got put into them because you forgot to turn in your library book on time? I mean, if you look at the
Penal
stuff that,
legions are still
Hey,
things.
Grandma.
the Penal Legions are like if they catch you for jaywalking, you get put in a Penal Legion. I mean, it's hilarious when you start.
Or if you're a badass, you get put in Schaefer's Last Chancers.
Yeah,
And then
I
it grinds
actually,
your ass
I have
into
that
the
box
ground
set.
until, you know.
Well, I if you actually look at some of the old stuff in there, that when they had the commissars, with the White Dwarf compendiums they used to bring out.
They still
it's
have
like-
commissars. My army is full of them.
But they had it where they'd blow off one of the heads of the Penal Legion guy, and it was like you've rolled a certain thing, and if it didn't go off, that legionnaire ran off the board, knowing that he was,
Well,
he was
there used
saved.
to be a rule I remember where if a unit failed a morale check, you could remove a figure and
Yeah.
re-roll the morale check.
Well, but in
But
first
that wasn't Penal Legion. That was any Imperial Guard Legion that had a commissar near it.
no,
He just shoots them.
this was in the
Morale will
old,
improve.
this was
Right.
the first edition for the Penal Legion, and you had to roll.
No one
And-
cares about first edition.
Oh, come on! First edition was the coolest edition.
Nope.
Schaefer's Last Chancers. Hold on.
Hell yeah.
I've got the box set still unpainted.
The Indian in that set was a serial killer. That's why they put him in. The one with the knife, Shiv or whatever. He looks like a Native American. He's got that knife. Yeah, his backstory is serial killer. Hero, the one in the officer's equipment, he withdrew his forces from a hill to prevent them from being overrun and destroyed. But by doing so, it caused like 20,000 other Imperial Guardsmen down the line to die.
God, gee,
Because when the Emperor tells you to hold a hill, you
Ryan,
hold the
that's
hill.
Freaking brutal.
You know what I'm saying? Penal Legion. Always that attention. Brian James, come on now. That's hilarious. But no, there is biological reasons given in the lore for why only males can be Space Marines. It's
And
not
it's
like
been in there
somebody
since the
just
very
made it up
first
to
edition.
decide.
That's what gets me. Is all this has been in there since the very first edition with
Right.
and they used to take the kids between what was the ages of 9 and 14. So they're taking like prepubescent kids because if they go to puberty, they're too old to go through the process.
Well, it's like when I'm on X and somebody's like, I want to see more gay Space Marines. It's like, they're mostly sterile, right? And their junk don't work anymore or anything like that because they're Space Marines. So are they even male really? They're more like transhumanist combat monsters. But boy, do I got a unit for you. They're called the Emperor's Children. If you want to play LGBT trans,
So yeah, the Indian's name is Shiv.
children. That's all they do. And they worship a deity that's hermaphroditic. So she's got boobs and male parts. So the Eldar call her a she, the humans call her a he. If you're looking for representation, you got it. It's a whole damn legion.
If you
What
want
is that, like,
representation, just play Schaefer's Last Chancers. You got an Indian. You got a guy named Fingers.
Yeah, he's the thief.
You got a guy named Ox. He's off, and Brains. They look like the perfect team.
Ox is the big guy that can manhandle a heavy bolter. Which, I mean, Space Marines can do it, but for a human to be able to manhandle a heavy like that, it's a strong dude.
Yeah.
He's pretty stupid, though.
Hey, look where he got himself.
Then
right?
you got Hero, and then you got the twins.
You got the Indian named Shiv, and he's a Native American,
Yeah, dressed up like an Apache with a freaking power blade.
He's just got a knife.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah, he's running around.
He's just got a combat knife. It's like he's a total ripoff from Spirit from G.I. Joe.
He is, but the reason he's in the Legion
I was
is
thinking
he
the character
was a
from
serial killer.
Predator.
He killed a lot of
Billy.
women on whatever world his unit had been stationed on, and Schaefer got him. Because, that's what Schaefer does.
And they call the Indian Shiv. So what is this? The Indian will come for you with his razor.
I'll tell you what, I've got a couple of miniature. I've got a miniature for every single member of the Predator team.
Oh, really?
And they're painted up. I've posted it on my YouTube channel. So I've got what's his name, Billy, and Poncho, and frickin' Schwarzenegger, and all of them. Carl Weathers' character with his MP5. I got them all, man. 3D printed those bastards, painted them up. They look good too. If I was ever going to play like a modern game where I was going to be like a mercenary or something, well, I know first off, Hungar would choose to play Mr. Clean. But I'd probably take Schwarzenegger because, let's be honest. But I might take Billy too. But
What?
Mr. Clean is the guy with the SOG M60.
Jesse Ventura was the best.
That was always shaving his head. And he was like Jesse Ventura's best friend.
Is that with the black guy?
I know, yes,
Yeah,
the black guy
was always shaving his head.
Yeah.
That was
When
Jesse
he was
Ventura's
looking
best
over and
friend.
said, well, he was the one that could actually, he says, the Predator's right there. I can see him or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, he sees him and then the Predator shoots his head off.
Yeah.
Because he tells Carl Weathers' character, I see, right there. And he's like, I see you.
Yeah.
But by the time he gets around to try and take a shot, the Predator had already come up on him and blew his head off. And then it blows Carl Weathers' arm off and then ganks his ass. Really, the only one that gets the special treatment is Billy. Because when he gets to the bridge, he just turns around and pulls that big freaking Arkansas toothpick out. And he's like, let's do this thing, baby. You know what I mean? Let's dance this dance,
I'm going to do the man dance.
So
I just ate an MRE. When I die, I'm going to have an anaconda shit.
And the Predator kept his skull. It was like super like.
Predator collected all their skulls. He even had Dylan's, what's his name, skull with that hole that he put through it.
Yeah. But he loved Billy's skull. That's the scene where you see him actually do it. And he's like touching the skull and like, lovingly caressing it and shit.
Wasn't that actor?
I still like Predator 2 more than Predator 1.
Yeah,
wasn't,
but I've told
wasn't
you
that guy in
there's
that
something wrong
TV
with you.
show? What the hell was that TV show like? Not Third Wave, but War of the Worlds or something.
Oh, you mean the one that was in like the late 80s, early 90s?
Yeah. Wasn't he in that movie? In both?
Penal Legion always had attention.
I seem to
Well,
remember.
I'm pretty
he was
sure
like-
they feed their Imperial Guardsmen stuff to make them not want to have relations wherever they go. And then, of course, if you're
that
Death
sort
Corps
of thing.
Krieg, don't worry about because you're only 15 anyway. Are you talking about the one where the aliens flew around in these weird like ships and they were blue and tall?
No. The one with that one guy. The one where
Is it V?
Martian.
No. He's talking about it was called War of the Worlds. It was in the late 80s, early 90s. It was a
I
series.
missed that.
It went like 2 or 3 seasons.
Mhm.
It was basically that the aliens in the original War of the Worlds didn't die. It put them into like a coma, and then they're waking up.
Huh.
And
I thought they had found a way on Mars.
Well, in the early 90s, I was in Iraq, so I must have missed that.
the Martian. They were the Martians from War of the Worlds, but they had found a way to create like human
Grandma.
fake bodies, and they would they now looked human.
It's so awkward calling her RPG grandma because I'm probably older than she is.
Nope.
And I know Shadow is because he's like 10,000 years old.
Hey, Grandma, you wanna come hang out with us? Let me know.
Shadow, like you know that big freaking temple that they buried in Turkey. Shadow was there helping them bury.
Good times. Good times.
Yeah, go Blecky Tepe. He's the one that helped carve.
Yeah, Shadow's like, look, dude, we need to bury this shit. And
That was my summer condo at the time.
Well, that's when they thought you were a Kidu or whatever, the god of the sky.
Did they realize that he was more Enkidu?
Or Marduk. Well, Marduk was Babylonian, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, Enkidu was the friend of Gilgamesh, right?
Yeah. I thought Enkidu was a god and Gilgamesh was friends with, but I could be wrong.
I thought that when you read about it, and I need to go read.
Ask Raven, she'll know.
I thought that Enkidu was kind of like a Bigfoot.
Yeah, Enkidu
yeah, he's a hairy wild man.
Had like bull-like horns, and like him and Gilgamesh.
So he didn't have horns
for like 3 days, and then they become best friends because that's how dudes do. I mean, when I met my best friend, may he rest in peace. We met because he kicked me in the ass while he was trying to ride by on his bicycle, and I snatched him off that bike. And we threw fisticuffs up and down the block for a while, and then I don't know how, but somehow we become best friends from then on.
Hey, a little side note: have you guys watched the new Fallout?
Dr. Sadism. That's some of that old horror hammer horror shit right there.
Yeah, but have you guys watched the new Fallout?
No. I've seen the trailers.
Yeah, it just came out yesterday. I was just curious.
Omen, guess what I've been watching?
I don't know. What have you been watching?
Yes.
Oh, guess what you've been watching? Debbie Does Dallas.
No, based on our conversations
That's what we need.
Based on our conversations over the last week, guess what I've been watching?
Oh God. I'm trying to think because I completely forgot whatever I've been talking about for some of these things.
You should know.
Well, all I can think of is there's Farscape, there's Babylon 5.
That's all lame. I don't watch that shit.
Oh, okay.
Little kids.
Babylon 5.
I love Babylon.
Shadow, what do you think I've been watching? Pretty much on auto repeat for the last month.
I got nothing, man.
Berserk.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say Goblin Slayer, but okay.
When I'm in the mood for a laugh, I watch Goblin Slayer. Especially Goblin Slayer Abridged.
Yeah, that's what everybody keeps telling me.
It's hilarious. It's the best thing ever.
The one clip that we saw on Hungar's show, that's enough to you're either laughing your ass off or you're oblivious. And
no, I get in these moods where I find something I like and I just watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So I watch the Golden Age arc, then I watch the Egg of the King Memorial Edition, and then I watch the Black Swordsman arc, and then I repeat. And you know what the meaning of that anime is? Pain.
I thought it was all power male fantasy.
Pain.
I'd have to say that it's not that complicated. There's nothing complicated going on in Berserk. It's basically a retelling of Beowulf. Now, when he defeated Slan underground, where did Beowulf fight Grendel's mother? Underground.
Yeah.
Did he hack off Grendel's mother with a sword of ridiculous size and then brag about it later? Yeah, you bet his ass he did. He's Beowulf.
He's Beowulf. He always brags. He swam out in the ocean against another guy, and then they had to fight sea dragons. So, yeah. But the problem with what you said, though, that particular scene is he doesn't kill Slan because Slan can't be killed.
The only Beowulf I've ever seen you
on
guys
the
ever see
material.
the Beowulf with Christopher Lambert?
But
No,
you know
what's that
what?
about?
HD isn't wrong. There's some similarity there, but no, Beowulf's just all about pain. All the pain he suffers. Just
The
constant emotional, traumatic pain from the time he was born, actually.
So tell us about the Christopher Lambert Beowulf.
well, it was kind of like a post-apocalyptic future Earth kind of thing. It still had all the medieval tropes and everything, but you got the impression with some of the things, the sceneries and stuff like that, that it was like way in the future, and it was kind of painful to watch for me, knowing how blind he was, literally, the actor at the time of doing it. I just like
Is Lambert blind now?
he's been blind for a long
Yeah,
time.
he was going blind even when he was making that show where he was riding around on a motorcycle beating everybody's ass.
Oh, I didn't know Christopher Lambert was going blind.
Yeah, he had some kind of congenital thing.
Mm.
I think he was even blind during the Tarzan movie, Legend of Greystoke.
Yeah, he wasn't completely, but he was slowly. He had degenerative, whatever.
No problem, Raven. Welcome back anytime. She's got a cat emergency.
Oh, well, Raven, you were the only thing classing to join up. I'm sorry to see you go.
Well, I'll let you guys go for now. I'm gonna hit the hay here in a minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna head off as well.
What the hay ever do to you?
Well, he was there. He exists. There you go.
It exists, therefore it must be punched.
Yes, exactly. Thanks for having me on, Shadow. Always good to see you.
Anytime, guys. I'm actually. I was just waiting until the 30-minute mark. I was going to say goodnight to everybody.
All right.
And go do stuff. I'm like a little burnt on painting. I got a bunch of stuff.
If you're in the show, don't forget to leave a like for good old Shadow. Check out DM James.
Let's not forget that Shadow remembers the time before grasses, before the Eocene.
And likes. I am working on a Tika Major figure.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
I just started this. Is that the 28 or 25 mil?
This, I think, is probably closer to Heroic 32.
Oh, really?
But I have Caramon, Raceland, Tika.
I have the original lead set.
I think that's it.
Somebody sent it to me. Mark from Mark Genre Mixer sent me the original Grenadier set from back in the day of Ralph Artha.
Yeah,
it's worth a freaking ton of money, and I'm like, thanks, dude.
I want to get Lord Soth and I want that set from Ralph Artha, Lord Soth's Charge.
I think I used to have that too.
I can't get you that, but if you want, I could print you up a Lord Soth.
Take care, Omen. We'll see you
Lord Soth would be cool. You don't have to if you don't want to, though.
Well, I know that. But like I also have like most of the demons from Berserk. So there's Zod in his human form, if you can even call it that. But I've got him in his demon form. I've got all of the characters there. Like right up here is, of course, my let go. I've got Guts getting ready to fire off his arm cannon.
Oh, that's cool.
Which I've got another one I haven't started painting, and I'm going to break the hand off and then put it where it's like he's pointing, put a pointy hand on. So you got one where he's got the cannon exposed and one where he doesn't, The
hand cannon, that is pretty cool.
I am constantly doing like weapon and head swaps on all of my stuff.
People are just burying themselves in their 3D printer world these days. I like it.
That's Griffin, the leader of, the band of the Hawk.
Yeah.
There, you focused in a little bit. Yeah.
There we go. Oh, yeah.
And, burying myself in my printer. My Saturn II has given me so much problems that I said F it and bought Saturn 3.
How long do you think those printers would last you?
Well, the problem is, I think it's my fault. When I changed out the LCD screen, I must have seated it wrong or something, but it has just been a beast to get it to work right ever since then. like it'll print the outside of a build plate, but not print the inside of it. Even though when I check exposure, it looks good, and if I do tank clean, it does everything right. So I don't know.
Well, gentlemen, you have a good night. I'll see you all later. Thanks for having me.
Have a great weekend, everybody. I will see you guys. I will see you guys Saturday night, where we're going to be talking about on the Sci-Fi Show nanotechnology. Want to pick some brains and see what people know about it, see what people think about it.
The nanotechs are going to turn everything into gray goo, and that'll be the end of all life on Earth.
Thank you.
All right, take care, guys. I will see you
hopefully
hopefully
ever
tomorrow,
heard of
James.
that theory, right? The gray goo theory.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
I'll catch you later. I'm going to probably go to bed.
Any word on your broke? Going to be around tomorrow, or is he still in?
I told you he's still in, and so we'll just have to wait and see.
Okay.
You know, we're all pulling that he will get out, and they put him on some new medications, and he was on my show just for a second, but the problem is the hospital he's at has terrible Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So he wasn't snubbing you. He said in your chat.
No. I saw that. I want to know. I want to be able to tell Jackie something positive, because he's going to ask.
But he decided to try and make it work for me because I was all like, dude, I haven't seen you in like 3 days. We talk on the phone and all, but
Yeah, so, he's got my number as well. Told him if he needs anything, just let me know. I'll find a way.
And I hope I didn't like upset Nerd's Nerd. I love her to death, but the female space marine thing needs to die. It needs to die. It's stupid. It needs to go away.
With the way the
But honestly, they'll probably release female space.
If they want to write a way for that to be a thing, so be it. You know what I mean? But it's got to be different than the previous lore and the way the lore has been for, like you said, decades. Even
35
as
years.
far back as Rogue Trader, there's a whole section in there on what they do and,
all the organs that they put in.
Right. They want to do that.
It only exists because people get angry when it's brought up. But Nerd's Nerd, the comeback is, why do people keep bringing it up? If they can make Primaris, they can make females. Why would you make the smaller, weaker part of the dimorphic species your super soldier? And, and I'm actually not really a misogynist. I mean, I love my wife. I'll rub her feet and all that. But, I mean, you've got two people to choose to be your super soldier. You got Kathleen Zeta-Jones, and you've got Jesse Ventura in his prime. I mean, who are you picking? Recruitment numbers? Well, yeah, that's a good argument. There are not enough Marines. They never are. Apparently in real life or in 40K.
I was thinking maybe she might even have meant gamer numbers,
to get females to play the game? That's not going to happen.
Oh, I know, but but
that's never going to happen.
We know that
they put out the Sisters of Battle, and the only people who play Sisters of Battle are dudes like me.
Right. We know that.
The only girl I know who actually plays 40K plays NIDS. You know what I mean? Gene Stillers and freaking Tyranids and Carnifexes and all that shit. That's what she plays. Which I guess makes sense since they are ruled over by a hive mind called a Norn Queen. So, and they don't have any particular like gender because they're freaking NIDS. So there you go. But Nerd's Nerd, I can argue with you all day long. And one of these days, if you want, jump on my channel and we'll argue. But I just wanted to make sure I didn't like offend you or piss you off because I got super passionate.
No, I'm sure
I am very passionate about the lore of the games I love. And I am a 30/40K freaking fanboy. So I don't like change at all. And I don't understand why it's so important to make Space Marines women when literally every other faction has female representation. Literally every other one. It starts to feel like there's just a group out there that's like men can't have anything. Like nothing. Nothing can be all male. It always has to have a female. Well, okay. I just didn't want to offend you because
Oh,
that kind
we're
of shit
just stuck in
cares. I
Adam's
care
circle.
about that kind of stuff. I don't want to piss anybody off. That's never my goal. But Shadow ended. I mean, we're just
Yeah, I just want to let you
and
say
I
your piece.
I respect you, nerd. You're a vet. I'm a vet. You got my respect. But if you want to play female Space Marines, like I said, Emperor's Children, you can play female, male, any combination of the two, trans, non-trans, any letter in the alphabet. They're all in there. You know what I'm saying? And more we haven't even thought of. And that's my second army, by the way, for Horus Heresy is Emperor's Children. I even painted my commander for my Emperor's Children infantry up. His cape is in trans colors. Right? And people are all like, that's neat. And I'm like, well, he's an Emperor's Children guy. You don't know what he's got under that power armor, or she, or it. I mean, that's Emperor's Children, right? They're the only legion, I think, that goes out of their way to make sure their junk works so that they can properly grape their enemies and prisoners. Like my beloved Blood Angels, their stuff don't work. They don't reproduce. It's just never going to happen, no matter how many purple pills they take.
With that, folks, I'm going to say goodnight. You guys have a great weekend. I will see you tomorrow, James. Everybody else in the chat, thanks for playing along. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Get some gaming in, get some painting in, because pretty soon it's going to be spring, which means summer here where I live. And pretty soon you're going to all want to go outside and put all your plastic behind and get some sun, go to the beach, go hiking, all that good stuff.
Screw that sun bullshit.
Yeah.
Nice. And I'm showing off a figure. Remember, guys, the gun is good, the seed is evil. Do you recognize him?
Isn't that Zardoz?
That is a Brutal from the movie Zardoz. I have an army of them. I 3D printed.
Nice.
I even have Sean Connery with the Webley pistol. Yeah, I'm weird.
One of these days I'll have to actually watch that movie, and then I'll have someone to.
I'll blame you. I'll blame you. Ever made. If you don't get it, it's because you don't. Watch it again. Keep watching it until you figure it out. That's what I would say.
All right, maybe I'll do that tonight.
Means not possessed or whatever they want to be. That is a fact. See, we agree. I'm glad that I could agree with everybody before we ended. I hate always being an asshole. You know what I mean?
That's not the word I'd use to describe you, but
I'll catch you later, bro.
Take care.
I'm hitting my button.
Good night, everybody. Happy trails.